So,
I'm just gonna grab a hot chocolate. I'll be right back.
All right, folks. Well, I was just about to go over where we left off, but she may need some of those details, so we'll give it a second here for her to get back. It is Moon Day 15th Brand Dusk. It is 9 in the evening. We'll go over specifically, the moment that we left off here in just a second once Fox is back. In fact, so she'll say something when she gets back. This morning, just to give you guys kind of a repeat, I guess, of this day specifically, you only arrived in the city early this morning, and as soon as you did, you sought out Avar and Theodore. Ended up meeting up with Garrop, and from there went into chasing down Jazera and burning down the restaurant. And then fleeing to...
We did not burn down the restaurant. We just were in a restaurant that burnt down.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you guys are directly responsible.
We didn't start it or anything.
We didn't start the fire, right?
Yeah.
So you weren't directly responsible for the burning of the restaurant, but fled the burning Paramount, I think it was, and then left towards the Gypsy's Gaze. Eventually met back up with Garrop. Actually, Pogo met back up with Garrop specifically to get some details about a locksmith that you would need in regards to this upcoming breaking and entering at Venovia Manor. Fox, you back? All right. Other bits there. While in the sewer, in the soakway, rather, you were attacked by some scavlings, which, of course, you managed to, at least temporarily, at the very least, take control over an experimented upon rat ogre, who you have right now is in dog shape, at least for a little while. I think that only lasted another hour or something like that, right?
I think he was. We put him in the edge of the sewer. He's still in the sewers. We put him back in there.
Yeah, but you turned him into a dog to take him down there. Yeah,
he's going to be one hell of a. Yeah, we'll figure it out, guys.
The plan there, at least, was to leave him there and then go back to pick him up before you actually do the B&E, which would be tomorrow night. Right now, it's Moon Day, but it's essentially Monday night, and you had agreed to meet back up with Nissy and her monitor lizard pet Glitters tomorrow night at around the same time, around 9 p.m. Come on, Fox.
I'm back.
Okay, all right, so... it's about 9 p.m. Monday night. The left off. While seeking legendary elven watchmaker in the soakways beneath the city of Mist, you were ambushed by a pack of scavlings and found the locksmith Tujo already dead. A few hours later, we're all back at the Gypsy's Gaze, a small inn that is run by Commander Pepperjack's mother, Hortensia. She has just served a well-prepared late dinner of roast and stewed vegetables. I actually had forgotten that.
It's supposed to be spaghetti. Oh, Pogue's going to be pissed. It's going to be garlic bread? God damn it.
What?
Remember? Pogo's like, we're going to do spaghetti dinner with garlic bread, and he got all excited about
you said it,
bread?
and then Sako put that gif in Discord about it, but it was supposed to have been a roast and some stuff, but whatever, if you want pasta too.
Pogo's disappointed. He wanted a carb load before this adventure.
You wanted
Wait, weren't you the one who wanted like the fancy potatoes and stuff?
No, it was spaghetti and I think I listed off like 7 things. We ended on spaghetti and garlic bread.
No spaghetti, no.
What is your spaghetti policy?
Technically, you listed off a bunch of stuff, and then I just handed her gold and told her to make what she could out of what you wanted.
Yeah. I mean, spaghetti's not that
maybe
hard.
There's
flour and an egg and some water.
Well, you've got
like I can make spaghetti from scratch.
Jeremy, even as bad of a cook as I am, I can fucking make spaghetti. But for Pogo's little dish in front of him, it is a still partially dry cube of ramen with some like a couple spoonfuls of
great.
sauce.
Love it.
That's what you can come up with. But anyway, so you're having a pretty late dinner. It's already 9:00. Noting the late hour, though, Sarah has started becoming a little concerned that Avar and Theodore have not yet returned from their city tour. I believe you had sent out Noctua to go look for them, right?
I also sent Scion another way because they were riding the tram thing that goes around the city.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the both of them then out scouting. Like I said, you have made arrangements to meet the Goblin Lockbreaker Nissy tomorrow night to begin the B&E of Venovia Manor. But there's still obviously preparations to be made. So you essentially have a day's worth of time. So let me jump this over there. All right. So what is everybody doing?
All right. That girl's still up in the room. I'm guessing she didn't go anywhere.
You
her
haven't gone up to
name-
check, but if you ask Hortensia, I mean, Hortensia's in the room with you, so yeah, she has
Jazeera.
not left. Yeah, Jazeera's,
Jazeera.
yeah.
All right. So she's up there. All right. I'm gonna leave her up there. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go grab her. Just she can stay in the room. Maybe I'll bring her some food later.
I already took her some food. She's
Oh,
fine.
Good. Was she crying or anything like that?
No,
All right.
she
Yeah.
cleaned up some. I think she was still a little worried about the fire, but apart from that, everything seemed fine.
Perfect. Are we just out in the open in the room? Are there other people around us?
So you're in the main hall and having to eat at the bar. There aren't tables, so you're basically all kind of lined up in a line at a bar.
There are a bunch of people there.
No, you guys are the only ones in here.
We're the only one here.
It's a tiny little inn. It's literally only 6 rooms, and you guys are the only occupants except for Jazeera.
Perfect.
So.
All right. So tomorrow night, that's when we're doing this thing. I'm not because I don't want to. I'm gonna do it to say it in a way that I'm gonna kind of wink at everybody to maybe we don't want to say all the details out here. You know.
I'd say
I'm
that
just
you guys
gonna
have traveled enough that that's not everybody would gather that from you easily, without needing for a roll or anything. Go ahead, Becky.
I'm just gonna look at Hortensia. So we have some things that we have to discuss about some work we're doing for Pepper Jack that you may not want to hear. Would it be okay if we talked here?
It's not sex stuff, if that's what you're thinking.
C doesn't laugh, but Jeremy did. How do you mean? Do you need me to leave? What are you asking?
We're going to talk about some business things, and let's just say if ever put in a precarious situation, it would be best if you didn't know any kind of details without scaling everything.
Want to make like a tree.
Just maybe go in the back, and
Or-
we'll let you know if anyone comes in here.
Or if you have a different place for us to sit, if you need to stay in the front.
I can, as long as you don't mind watching the place, I can just go for a walk. It'd be nice to get some air, anyways. I've been slaving over that ramen for the last 6 hours. So, I had a question though, if you don't mind. I mean, especially if this involves my son, I'd be curious to get your input on something real quick before I go, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, I've only been able to get small details from him. He's never been one to kind of share, especially the dangers he's in. But something is clearly off. If for the situation to be true, at least from what I've heard, anyways. I mean, if my son were to melt down all the commendation medals that he's earned fighting for the Empire, he'd have enough to build a gleaming gold statue of himself. It doesn't make sense for the Empire to make him an outlaw. So, do you know what happened or why he's not allowed to come home?
Politics are a bitch.
And that's one of the things we're here to fix.
And this woman that you're seeking is apparently supposed to be able to help with that?
Yes.
Is that all you can tell me?
It's... Pepperjack is doing
Just
the right
shove
thing,
a
in my
giant
opinion.
piece of bread in my mouth.
Oh, that ramen's real dry.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Pepperjack is doing the right thing.
Well, I have no doubt of
Does
that. He's my son
everyone-
after all.
Yeah. Someone may not necessarily agree with that for their reasons, things they want to happen, but we're going to try to make it right.
You know, I have a question actually. And how's everyone's I guess how is everyone looking at the Emperor and the Empire right now? Is there some disdain among the people? If you're politically speaking, are people happy? Are they unhappy with things that are happening around? Do they know some of the strife that's going on, in faraway places?
There's a lot of tension in the air about the situation at the Borderlands. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, everybody's generally been happy for at least as long as I can remember. But it's certainly been a while since we've had any kind of strife of this sort.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I turn to the group, but it even seems to Pepperjack and a few other people he works with that the decisions of, is it the king or the emperor? I can't remember. I know it's an
Emperor.
emperor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That the decisions of the emperor seem more out of sorts when it comes to this. Like, it seems a bit
Not like him?
off. Like, maybe it just seems like he's not a decision he wouldn't have made previously. Obviously,
When you say that, as you're kind of voicing, cause of this kind of political tension, she's peering pretty sharply at the door. It is slightly ajar just to let some cool air in, and she's just kind of staring at it, just making sure that there's nobody walking by or nearby or in front of windows and things like that. And then she kind of quietly drops her voice an octave. There's certainly been discussion of that sort, especially in the seedier taverns in the city, but it's strange, would put it lightly. A lot of people don't believe that he's really the one in control at the moment.
Yeah, that tracks. Maybe we should lock that door. Should we close it and lock it? Close early for the evening. I see. You're a little nervous. Is there a chance that someone might listen in on?
No. My only concern is that if somebody were to, traveler were to try to step on in through the door while we're having such conversation that could.
You have like a closed sign.
I think I'll close it up on my way out, and I'll let myself back in when I get back. I guess if you need something, just shove your head out the door and holler, and I'll see if I can make my way back to you quickly. I'll be in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Way out.
All right. So, should we discuss our plans for tomorrow?
Yes.
We have everything we need.
Sorry.
Mark's busy stuffing his face. He hasn't said a word.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to open up that map that we got, the handwritten map, if I can find it. Where
did I make that a VA
note?
for you guys too?
So.
Map? Yeah, there it is. Hang on, I got it. There you go.
All right. All right. So, so the room that has the office. Let's see here. If I remember correctly, the owl went through this second floor to the room that has the bunch of the bones in it, right? It's like on the ground floor in the room that has like a bunch of bones of some creature. Mm-hmm. And then it flew through the hallway, and then it went. Does anyone else remember? Was it the ground floor that the office is at? I think it was.
Yeah, wasn't it in the
top right-hand corner?
Right?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giselle marked out the top right-hand corner.
Top right was where his office is.
It's downstairs from there. That's his office, and then
and there's a door
downstairs
that's being blocked by, I think, two of those robot creatures in that room.
That's also downstairs, yeah.
And if I remember correctly, they're also like walking up and down the halls in certain formations, like they're what's that called? Perimeter, like walking.
Rolling.
Yeah.
Yep. There's also a machine or something in, like a switchboard in the room with all the bones that seemed to control the automaton.
That's right.
Not that I know how that works, because I don't, but it looked like it controlled them.
Well, if there's something Pogo's good at, it's not that. So
We could just go up and start pushing buttons.
Yeah, I'm fine doing that. I doubt it's going to help anything. I'm bad track record for me. I mean, it's just, I'm not, I might look it, but I'm actually not that smart when it comes to things of that nature. Not that wise. Anyone here wise? Nora, how are you wise? Are you a wise person with,
Artemation
intelligent?
Wise.
And I mean, I learn from my mistakes, but not exactly educated or whatever, So.
If you were to give it a number,
What's your stats?
I'm not very proficient when it comes with things dealing with intelligence or wisdom, really.
I'm fairly wise if need
Yeah,
be.
neither am I.
Look, all right. So Nazim's pretty wise. I mean, I feel like trying to figure out something like that would either, you got to have an intelligent or a wise person working on it.
I might be able to do a bit of it.
I think whoever we want in there, do we want, I know it's everyone's favorite idea. Do we want one person in there working on the robots and then the rest of us trying to get in that small room?
Or should we have 2 people? Like someone to watch the other person's back?
Well, I have Bubbles,
Yeah,
so
probably good.
if necessary, Bubbles can act as the distraction as well as
Well,
an
we
escort
need-
if needed.
Oh, Bubbles? No,
Oh.
Bubbles. I think we should. I don't want to be rude to the dead rat thing. I think we should just have that go and attack the opposite side of the building. Like, just. I mean, I don't know if there's a gutter system, like if it can come up from the sewers somewhere. But that would be amazing. That would probably. I'd imagine half the robots would just go straight after it. So we could do this one of 2 ways. We could go in very quiet. We could try to be as quiet as possible. Perhaps we'll get lucky and we'll figure out how the robots work, disable them. We'll maybe be able to dispatch the 2 guards, without killing them. Perhaps we could get them, quieted down or unconscious. We'll put them to sleep. And then we can take our time with the room, or we create that distraction, try to get in the room. Once we get in the room, then we can be quiet, and maybe we'll get lucky and they won't know we're in that room.
I feel like doing a distraction and then trying to be sneaky about it, like, wouldn't someone figure out that that's probably a distraction to get to where we're going?
If
Not necessarily,
anything,
because if it came out from a sewer, they could just think that it was attracted by something.
If anything, we just run a stealth entry, do as much as we can, and time it out so a distraction occurs during the stealth mission, so everyone runs to the left while we're to the right. But by that time, we've already established something.
You know what you could do? We could, as your thing that you control, is it smart enough to understand, like, basic time? Like, if it like come in 5 minutes, and 5 minutes later it did a thing? Or is it not that smart?
That's a good question. It's just a big dumb rat. Not
DM
too sure.
question? What do you think? You can say no to this, perfect.
So I'm looking over how, because you didn't raise it intentionally, like you didn't use a raised dead or anything of that sort. It's basically just because a finger of death, it rose as a zombie that is permanently under your command. It says it follows your verbal orders to the best of its ability. I would say that what I would do in this case essentially is to have it, roll probably an intelligence check to see if it can measure time well enough. It is a rat ogre after all, so it wouldn't be any more intelligent in zombie form and able to tell time, but it could certainly attempt to do so. It would try anyway.
So I think your answer of dumb rat creature was pretty fucking spot on.
Well, I mean, just Sako has its stats, so I mean, I would say that would natively it would come, Sako, from kind of a general understanding of the control you have over it, and the limitations from that. Meaning have you, if you have an idea, I guess, of how intelligent it is, which is.
Where do I have those stats?
If you go under player characters and go to actors in the top right. So the little 3-head one, it's the 4th icon from the left. It'll say actors directory if you mouse over that. Click that, and then under player characters and player characters stuff, you'll see what a setting for Bubbles in there. His
Bubbles.
intelligence. Yeah, his intelligence is 2, guys. So he has a -4 modifier.
He
he's
doesn't
literally
understand the
more
concept of
stupid
time.
than dogs. Yeah, like dogs are, like regular dogs are more smart, are more intelligent.
All right. So we eat good tonight. Do we have to do anything else in the city? Did you guys get that broom thing figured out? Is it fixed? Or?
We need to get paid this job to get it fixed.
Yep, we go back in 2 to 3 days anyways.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
told you that it would be ready around Thane's Day. It is Moon Day evening. So it's Monday night, and it'll be ready on Thursday.
All right. So this is let me. I'm gonna start typing a plan out here.
I gave you the shopping list with all the money we need, so we better get paid good for this job.
Yeah, you paid $275, I think. You put half down. I think it was $275
Yeah.
that you put down.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's decide. When should we start this?
Pogo, when you pull out a piece of paper and a quill to start kind of jotting these things down to plan, you hear a kind of a cough in your ear, and you look around thinking that it's somebody nearby, and then you realize that the cough sounded like Garrett. And you realize it's a message sent directly to you. You obviously, all of you are familiar with this kind of communication,
Sure.
Even without a walkie-talkie. And it says, "Hey mate, did you find the old watchsmith in the Soakways?"
Not exactly. I mean, yes.
Sarah, Arteme.
Does this? Would I know it only has a 25 character limit?
Yeah,
right.
all of you, even probably Norok by this point would recognize that he's clearly having a conversation mentally that's not with any of you, not over the walkie-talkie. So you kind of recognize that he's clearly talking to somebody.
One finger up to the rest of the group. And just,
all right, yeah. Hang on, I got to take this.
Yeah, just holding up one finger. We found him, but he was already dead.
That was the end of the message.
Yep, just waiting on a response.
There's a pause. He says, "Okay, then. There's been a situation that needs addressing. Meet me in the morning, 8th bell, old clock tower on Garden Street. You know the place."
Oh yeah, love that place. Do they still have that little chicken fried rice balls that I love so much?
They went out of business. Now there's like a Yobo Goya down there instead.
Ah, all right.
He sounded certainly more dire. He didn't have his typical, somewhat jovial tone.
Right. Just to let you know, we do have a watchmaker, just a different one.
He just replies, "Okay."
And I'll put my finger down. I'm going to let the rest of the group know. Yeah, so that was Garrett, and he sounds a bit distressed. What? I don't know. But he needs to meet at 8 a.m. Tomorrow morning at a place that I know about.
Yeah, it's you guys had used it to kind of monitor other second story work type of business in the city, because it's an old clock tower. It isn't typically in use anymore, and it's up high enough that you can get a good view of the city while still keeping yourselves kind of covered, essentially not easily visible in the city.
I'm gonna just to let you know, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go there alone. Just it's real easy for me to kind of be stealthy around things, and no one's really seen my face in the city that has been with any kind of malintent compared to a few of you. So I'll do that alone and let you know how it goes, and let you know what we need to do from it. I still have a walkie-talkie, I believe, so I can let them know if I need to.
All of you except for Nazim still have one, yeah. Yep.
So I'll let you know how that goes in the morning. Hopefully it doesn't change our plans too much, but what time do you guys think would be good to start our plan to go actually to that estate and get this started tomorrow?
Well, we're meeting her tomorrow night.
Was it 9 p.m.?
Yeah, 9 p.m.
All right, so 9
so we should
p.m.
probably just do it then.
Well, we're going to have to explain to her, too, what we're doing.
Well, she kind of already knows, because wasn't Missy
That's
going
right.
to go in with us, and then if she wanted to, she could leave anytime she wanted?
That's right, yeah.
So she could actually be the person watching the other one's back, just letting them know if someone is coming.
Well, she doesn't look very... Like, I feel like we just need to keep her invisible or something, and we can use her for her lockpicking skills. Get us in through a window, a couple doors, into the office, into the door in the office, things like that.
Sure.
I think this is my curiosity here. Are we gonna try to break straight into that office, or are we gonna try to get to that control panel? Because I like the idea of the control panel. I'm also just worried that if we fuck it up, we're just gonna have to half murder everyone in that house.
There were... Okay, DM question. When I'm assuming I was looking through Noctua's eyes when she was relaying this stuff, like I was actually seeing it.
She was giving you images, not live. These were kind of playing a back recording, essentially. But yeah.
It's kind of like them playing a slideshow of different pictures.
Yeah, exactly. It's more... Sorry, it's not video as much as it is individual still shots, essentially.
Okay, so the room with the bones, the one that had the thing that we're trying to use, Did it look like there were hiding spots in there, places you could hide, or was it relatively empty?
It's
Other than-
pretty much so. The whole place very much looked to you, although Noctua didn't know what this is, but the images you saw look like a museum. And it's that room is a wide open room with a giant like display piece skeleton of a giant lizard creature in the middle of it, and along the walls of this very large room. It's a 2-story room, by the way. There's a balcony essentially on the top story that's visible, and all the way around, both top and bottom floor, around the wall on the outside of the room are like other small display stands of like little glass cases with things in them and things like that. And one of this, in place of where a display stand would be, was this kind of brass colored, kind of almost gold tabletop with the knobs and wheels that were like moving on their own as the automata were moving around.
Okay.
Not a lot as far as hiding places.
I also say if worst comes to worst, we just destroy that entire machine. Like if we can't, if all the things start attacking, we just destroy it.
They could just start malfunctioning, and then.
I mean, they're being
everyone
controlled
runs
by
to
like
try to fix
something.
it.
Like they're being controlled by like a soul or something too. So maybe
so
maybe they
you
just
guys,
go haywire. Maybe they're slaves, and that thing is keeping them pinned in.
I'm gonna because you just mentioned that anyways, Justin. As a reminder, because Pogo and all of the rest of you would know a very small amount about this rather, because of the vast erudition. Although those memories are starting to get kind of fades. Yeah, exactly. The stones that are in the kind of chest cavity for them, these kind of irregular chunks of crystal, clearly house some sentient being. They're not, they're not purely robotic. There is clearly something in there that is intelligent. And yeah, in fact, I think you had mentioned it last time, Justin. It may have been somebody else, but somebody had pointed that out. So I would say that is there's something all of you are aware of at the very least, that they're not just simple robots.
I'm down for destroying the thing and seeing what happens.
We've got another thing we could do with the big rat guy too. You could transform him into like a bird in a cage. You could put like a cage around a bird, and then if you need to, you could just throw it at somebody. Just lands it explodes and turns into a rat thing and just lands on one of them. I mean, it's like a grenade just with a creature inside of it.
I mean, we could, but that's up to Nazim.
Yeah, it's all Nazim. Nazim, you know what? I'm gonna say this. You decide what you want to do with that thing, because I feel like we're overthinking it, really.
Yeah, honestly, we could just use them as a distraction or just as an offensive tool. However we break and enter to get this information is really up to the team. But Bubbles is just there to be the bullet shield / loud distraction if needed.
Yeah,
So,
he's not going to be able to sneak at all. Like, if he's around us, obviously
he's a
he's going to
huge
cause
creature.
trouble. So, yeah, he's going to have to be a distraction one way or the other.
Yeah,
Or
he's
cause
the
ruckus one way
bull
or
in
the
a
other.
china shop. This guy, once he's in, and he's getting attention, and that's that.
You know what? Since you point that out there, Nazim, Arteme and Sarah gave me flat intelligence checks, I guess, both of you.
How do we do that again?
Wow, we are out of.
Yep.
It
Out of
took me a
practice for
second,
sure.
too. I was like,
Did
shit.
it? Yeah. Bring up your character sheet, Fox. And then on the attributes tab, it should be the one that comes up by default. But the attributes
Ability
tab.
check, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Run ability checks, not safe. There you go. It's been that long.
I just forgot if I had to click it or if I had to click another button to click it. Like,
Oh, yeah. No problem. We'll get back in the swing of things here. Really, I would say that this is low enough to both of you kind of piece this together, but Sarah clicks for you a little bit quicker. Having seen Bubbles' natural form, and then also seen there's a little bit of kind of mental math that's necessary here, because the inside of Vanovia Manor you saw from the perspective of a very small animal. But kind of doing that mental math there and thinking about the size and shape, Bubbles will have trouble getting through the halls. He's that massive and awkward. So him even just wandering around inside won't necessarily be easy. It won't be that he can't do it, but it's kind of regular human size hallways that he is 8.5 feet wide kind of thing. He's huge. So for him to even...
Essentially, I was thinking if we were to use bubbles as a distraction, it would break in, walk into a room, and just stand its ground until it drops. At that point, just pulling all security and making a ruckus in one side of the house to get us
Well, you could
buy some time.
You can't tell it to defend itself?
Oh, he's going to defend himself.
All
Things
right,
will go
good,
down 100%. It's going to go down swinging. But
I thought you were just going to stand there like a mannequin.
No, stand your ground, aka fighting until he dies.
Way to go, Florida.
Do we want him in the house or outside of the house? Because outside of the house, he'll have more room to move.
He
Yeah.
is actually more adept outside. He does have dark vision, so if we can pull them into a darkened room, if they have any problems seeing anything,
We're
obviously,
doing this at night too.
yeah. So he'll have an advantage if it's dark and if it's grimy.
I'm going to use that same intelligence check you guys just rolled already. Sarah and Arteme, not only did the automata immediately they had zero trouble spotting either Sai or Noctua. They also seem to have. You're pretty sure that they're going to be able to see through illusions and other things of that sort.
And they dispelled Sai pretty much.
Correct. Yeah, they basically just snapped her out of existence. Kind of the same way that Sarah or Arteme does, except she was like flash gone, not just pocket dimension.
Well, that goes one of my backup ideas. I was going to toss on some platform boots and then just use my hat of disguise to make me look like that cook.
Okay, that may work on others. Yeah, that may work on others.
I'm not going to try to sneak around in platform boots around all these automatons. It's not worth it for that plan.
Okay, so we can't deal with the automatons. So do we send them outside against the rat and destroy the tabletop and hopefully something happens while they're out there, or...
Well, destroying the tabletop, if they're under the tabletop's control and they go out of it, there's no telling what they'll do.
I know, which is why I'm thinking maybe having them outside before we do that would be a good idea.
We could always, just throw, a jar with, if it's transformed into some other creature, throw a jar outside, out a window or something, but I know that they'd probably know where it was coming from.
I'm wondering if, since they can see through magic, they obviously have a lot of magic of their own, if they aren't resistant to magic, or magic has a harder time penetrating them, hitting them.
Well, I'm just going to nudge Norak. That's why we have this guy. He's the one that does the penetration. He's the penetrator.
I should not have used that word.
This big guy.
Technically, yes.
I meant penetrating their armor, but yeah.
I'm well aware of what you meant.
Oh, I know.
Justin's not going to let a joke go by. You can't just let that float.
Come on.
I'm just thinking in my head, I should have used a different word for that.
Yeah. You see Pogo's eyes he's half full of fake spaghetti.
Stealth deep insertion.
Phrasing. All right. I think we should just try to sneak into that big room with the control panel then, and set a diversion off, and then see what we could do with the control panels while that's happening. Maybe we can figure it out. Maybe you guys, after looking at it with your human eyes and using your smart brains, can figure it out. And then, this is my thought: if we can get in the office, if we can get into this office area, the secondary basement, whatever. Worst case scenario, if we're stuck there, we can probably just make a circle to get out. We could barricade the door and just leave.
That'll take a minute, though.
Literally, I know.
So, yeah. So I actually had a DM question.
Mm-hmm.
When we do the circle, we write it on the ground, and the glyphs light up for the hole, right? For us to
light
walk
up for the
through?
hole. What do you mean? Yeah. Well, it's a circle that if you're all standing inside of.
Yeah.
I guess, what are you asking?
I'm asking... Okay, you're probably going to say no, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Right.
So, if I lay out a sheet where we're at now and start it with the materials and leave, I don't know, 2 rounds worth of what I need to write not on there, could I, fold that up, take that with us, and then use 2 rounds to finish it off and us get out?
So I'm going to tell you specific. You know what? I like the ingenuity, and I think we could probably come to a compromise of a halfway point there, but I'm going to tell you that simply, like just by the simple answer, definitely no. And the reason is that it's not drawn; it's chalk. It's like a chalk and salt essentially that you're laying out. That's why you need those for the for the material component. And if you put chalk on a blanket or a sheet and then fold it up, I mean, it's going to be everywhere. And sure, you'll teleport, but you're definitely not going to where you think you're going. And, likely it'll be underwater or inside of a mountain, in a rock, something like that.
Or Alabama.
It could be. It could be Alabama. Half a mile above the planet's surface, and you just fall until you hit the ground and campaign over type of thing.
Love the idea, though. Great idea.
It's not that's the thing is it's not a bad idea, and I think you potentially I would put it to you this way, that Sarah thinks that she's not the first mage to have this idea, but have never heard of anybody accomplishing it.
Get everywhere you want to be 30% of the time.
But with something like, say, for example, if not the direct idea, but a compromise maybe that Sarah feels like with some practice, maybe with Artemis' help of stitching and kind of leather work, could potentially take a sheet and maybe draw the plan in stitching so that it's really easy and quicker maybe to potentially just throw out the chalk dust that you need in those places. So it's kind of like a stencil, you know what I mean? So you could kind of quickly fill it in. And maybe that could, reduce the amount of time, because you have heard of things like that being done. Still potentially risky because, the more hurried you do that, the more likely it is of making a mistake and ending up somewhere wrong. But less catastrophically wrong, let's say.
Okay. Well, not an option for this time, but it's something to think about for next time.
I dropped in Discord where you guys' plan status is too, by the way.
We could, like Pogo said, barricade the door and just take the full minute.
I kind of hope that they all run outside, and then I'm just going to run around as quickly as I can and lock all the doors. Like, I know it's not going to last forever, but it would be kind of funny when all the automatons rat thing dead, and they walk back and...
Smoke break time. They're all just going to stand up there.
I mean, honestly...
What happened?
I can summon an unseen servant to go with us as a ritual and have him go do that.
Yeah, just go lock all the doors after.
They last for an hour, so I mean, I could have him go.
They could
lock
probably.
all the doors
Honestly, the problem there is
they
they might be able to just be a, and then like the same as it when the other creatures just sent away.
Yeah, he'll probably get seen.
But I like our plan. I like that we're going to break into the room with the controller. At the same time, we'll unleash Rat Man on the other side, see if he can take out one or two of them and at least cause a distraction. Maybe have him come out of the bushes or something looking like he's just a rabid creature. The good thing too is it doesn't seem like it's going to be such a major issue that they're not going to call the local guards or anything. I think they'll just try to sort it out on their own. And we go in quiet.
Yeah, and if we can't figure out the top of the table, we can always destroy it.
And Norak does some penetrating, and then we'll be fine.
Yeah, that.
All right.
So ultimately,
make our way there.
We find a stealth plan to get in. Did you actually want to use bubbles as our escape plan to cause a distraction for our escape? Because we could probably sneak in, like you said, take care of the table, like you said, and then have the rat bubbles take care of a large, loud distraction for our getaway. But we still need to figure out the schedule for Sai and Noctura, though, right?
Did we get a schedule? I don't think... Did they watch it long enough to get a schedule?
No.
Yeah.
They watched for about 2 hours or so. So you still... Basically, you don't have, a day schedule, essentially. You only have a couple hours, and you don't know if that's necessarily repeated every day or not. You don't have multiple days' time to get, a concise one.
What time is it right now?
By now, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
So why don't we just set up a sting operation and just have them watched from here on out for the next 24 hours or so? And
Noctua's a little busy at the moment.
So is Sai. They're looking for Avar.
I'm going to tell you too, by the way, at this point, Avar and Theodore, no hide nor hair yet. Both Sai, and if they're going opposite directions, did you turn Noctua back into an owl? Because that would have taken an hour. Is she still...
Yeah, I
Okay.
said I was going to spend an hour doing that.
Okay,
And then send
all
her
right.
off.
Then in that case, if she's flying and Sai is still, land-bound, the two of them going opposite directions along this like light rail track, essentially, and then carefully looking in every cabin. They've both checked every cabin more than once because they would have, come across it while flying around the city, specifically Noctua. Sai's still obviously making progress as well. She's just a little slower on foot. But anyways, no sight of them at all on the train cars, the little trolley cars. And it is 9:30, maybe 10 at night. In answer to your question, though, Sako, Nazim's question, yeah, I mean, you potentially would need someone or something, either Cyanoctor or something else, anyways, watching the house until tomorrow night, essentially, to get a full schedule.
Yeah, things got to be tailed, so we can figure that out.
I mean, I can send PD Pablo over there to keep an eye on it. It's just he's not that smart. Like he'll watch and he can take. He's not gonna remember an entire evening of where robots are walking around. And
he wouldn't be able to get inside either. He could watch from outside.
Exactly. That's all I could do.
I
mean, he could try. He'll fail.
Because of something you guys have mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys this too, that both Sai and Noctua never once saw one of the automata outside.
Yeah.
Not once. And
you could always have PD try and look at the
only person that does outside checks is either Nils or
hey, look at you. You said you were bad with names. It's Nils,
yeah.
Auti, and Silvo.
Svali and Auti.
Svali, there you go, yeah.
So they're the only ones that do the outside checks, and that's just one person. Like I imagine they just take kind of thirds outside perimeter checks, so we can just see them with our eyes. Well, you can. I can't see shit outside in that dark. I don't remember. We would have talked about this. Is there like tree cover, or is it pretty open there? Like, will we be able to use the light of the moon and stars and stuff to?
It's pretty open. Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like underground black. It's just nighttime black.
Correct.
That's not too bad.
And there's still lamplight from the city and stuff like that too. So there's still ambient light around.
You
stars
see
and
you see someone running around that mansion as like a mouse or something, just to kind of look at this thing like a fly on the wall.
That's fine
literally.
until one of those things sees you, and then it turns you back into a person, and then they murder your face.
Yeah, and
all of your face.
I can't turn one of you guys into a mouse and send you in there because you're going to have the intelligence of a mouse. So it would have to be Artemis, and I don't think she's going to want to go in there and do that.
I wouldn't recommend it. We could do it. I mean, if you want, we could do it on the night of.
I'd have to study a mouse to be able to turn into one. Thank you very much.
You'd know a mouse for sure. That's a common enough animal, Fox, that you'd have that. Certainly by level 14, you'd have that under your passive by now. Artemis, do me a favor. Make a nature check with advantage.
I mentioned earlier that not once have the automatons been seen outside the home. Is it safe to assume, or would we have the wisdom or knowledge to know or recognize if there's a cube of magic kind of confining them within the house, or they can only operate within that cube?
That's the kind of check you could make if you were like near enough to see the manor, but Nazim, having not seen it and not been privy to the visual communication from either side or Noctua, wouldn't have been able to analyze that.
Would I be able to?
Potentially, that would be a little bit outside of your field, so I would say that you would have disadvantage. Sarah, you could roll it with a regular roll, but both of yours would be a higher DC than it would be for Nazim, for reasons you don't necessarily know. But Nazim asked the question. I would say that he has a decent chance. But real quick, as far as the nature check there for Artemis, you also recognize that your forms, when you do turn into a beast shape of any sort, Artemis, are not illusions. And therefore, you are naturally the actual creature that you are taking the shape of, and therefore would not be seen as an illusion that the automata would reveal, whereas a polymorph or anything of that sort would be.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I could, but
it doesn't mean you'd be safe, but it does mean that they don't necessarily see through it. Yeah.
I would need a very good escape plan, which I don't think I have right now.
You also, I'm going to go ahead and put it to you this way too. You guys have a good interior understanding of the place already. What you don't have is 24 hours of monitoring it for a schedule as far as comings and goings, if there are any. During that 2 hours, you didn't see any, other than just when there was one guard that was asleep. One of the sons was asleep in the little kind of outdoor pond, like a koi pond area. Why is the fog so thick on that screen? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, the best I could probably do is, as a small animal, I could put some sleepy type potion in their drinks and then put them to sleep.
Anybody?
I mean, how are you gonna get in to their drinks?
I mean, can you get into your stuff when you're an animal shape, or would you have to
I'd have to leave it out and have one of you tie it around my neck or something, and then use my little paws to put it in.
And then you're just gonna go. The other thing I bring up is when I'm drinking something, and even on a side eye, if I saw a mice, like a mouse or a rat,
Gotta drop a roofie
and open a bag and pour something in,
like a hitman ratatouille.
because remember you can't. Also, we're pretty sure that those automatons can probably see through the magic. They saw the magic on Sai, and
They wouldn't see through me because I turn into the actual creature.
I mean, magically though, we don't know you. They wouldn't see through you. Well, I mean, it's fine. It's just there's only one guard at night, one guard per time. Sounds like, and I mean, we could try to put him to sleep, and then the other the wife and the cook might be shagging it out. Maybe they're going to need a beverage to rehydrate, and then the husband's there too. But
yeah, but where we need to go is in his personal quarters.
Yeah, well, it's in his office.
He's probably going to be there.
Yeah, it's not his sleeping quarters.
It's not like where he
office.
sleeps.
Yeah, and then the basement, which is where where you expect the expensive things to be.
And there's a door in that office that we think goes to the basement or somewhere down further.
Yeah, but we also have to think about the fact that he may be in that office when we get there.
Well, then
he may not be in his room.
Out of him. We'll hold him down. We'll use him as a human shield. See what his automaton things can do then.
Do you guys want me to bring up the hand-drawn map so that you guys can draw on it? Do you want because I made it so that you guys can, but if you don't think it'll be helpful, no big deal. I can bring it up if you guys want to for planning purposes.
Well, I think right now is we know which room we're going into, and then we're going to try. We know which room we're trying to get to.
Okay, how are we getting into the room with all the bones?
Window?
I mean, are we just walking in the front door? Or?
Fuck that. We check, we look, we've tried to peer through a window, first floor or second floor, either one. We see if the room's clear. We get in there silently.
The ground floor, because that's where we need to be, right?
Well, that room encompasses two floors.
Open.
There's so if there's no windows on the first, the second floor is a balcony. Think of it like a museum with a second floor balcony around it. The second floor is just the edge, so you can see it from the first. Very high ceilings, vaulted, beautiful architecture, really nice. So we could go in there or the second floor. Just be quiet, be small. Norok's gonna have a problem with it, but we'll get through.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't mind, I could turn him into something.
We don't have to. I don't think we have to do that yet. If we get there,
for Norok every friggin' time.
We don't have to. So
I just mean he's real big.
Windows
How are we
are
gonna
big
get
sometimes.
him to the second floor?
Windows are pretty big sometimes. We'll figure it out. He could probably climb up there.
Usually, while all of us hold on to a rope and pray we don't go over as he tries to pull himself up.
All right. How about we do this? How about we see if there's a way for him to get in? He hangs out outside while we figure out the machine stealthy-like, but we make sure that he can get in a quick instant if everything goes pear-shaped. How does that sound?
Well, I could just turn him into something and put him in my pocket, bring him inside, and then make him Norok again.
I know, but it's a lot of your magical energies wasted on something we might not need.
I can get that spot bag if I need it.
No, I'm not. I shouldn't really be one to tell you what to do with your own. You're a proud, independent woman. You can use this. I'm halfling.
How about we ask Norok's opinion on this?
I mean, I'm just saying if we can't get him up there. If he can get up there, then obviously I won't waste the magic. But if we can't figure out a way to get him up to the second floor, that is an option.
Well, I could probably get up to the second floor. I just don't know how quietly if I do it myself. So.
Well, let's. Maybe there's. I don't remember. I feel like this was described to us. Were there windows on the first floor of this room, or was it just solid?
No, there's windows.
So, like, here's the thing: if you can't get through the windows quietly, you can just look inside while we're doing our thing, and if things go sideways, you just crash through the window, like Chuck Norris style, and you're right there in the fray.
All right.
You know, I'm just saying, you're just what,
We're
about
not
20
gonna
feet
be-
away?
Yeah,
Like a
but
smash and grab.
We're not going to be in that room the whole time, or eventually you have to go through the house.
Yeah.
We have to have him with us at some point.
Well, he could trail around the side of the house, watch us through the windows until he's completed.
Quick reminder too, though. Gareb did tell you that his patrons, the people that he's clearly hesitant about working for, that you're needing to do this job for, have made it pretty clear this needs to be as non-destructive and non-violent as possible.
Right.
True, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Before you go smashing a window. Nice, G. That's perfect.
All right,
just
well,
cannonball through a window. That's a good
coming, dudes.
Yep.
All right, so let's keep that in mind. That this is probably going to end not the way Get Up wants it to, but we'll do our best. All right.
Well, I mean,
then that's fine. I think you should turn him into whatever you'd like to turn him into. We could put him in a
with
in
his
a job.
permission, please.
With his
Somebody
permission.
ask Ben if this is okay. If you guys,
I did say to ask him.
You did, yeah. Fox did, yeah.
She did.
You know what I think would be like a good thing is like, what if you turned him in? Well, what if we do that? What if we did this? What if we did it double duty? What if? Oh no, because then he'd have the brain of a mouse. No, can't do that. Forget.
I'm not going to be a mouse trying to wrangle another mouse.
Yeah, I'm ready to just go. I'm ready to do it. I feel like we know what we're breaking in. We know what we're trying to do. Disable the automatons. Get into that office. Get into the basement. Wait, then what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to find... We're just supposed to see what's there, right? That was like the whole goal.
Supposed to figure out why he got a bunch of magic canceling metal.
So we should also look for paperwork or anything that we might see as an obvious sign, maybe plans. I feel like you wouldn't buy so much blank material unless you were trying to make plans of something, if that makes sense.
But he didn't buy that much because if it's metal and by weight, he didn't really buy that much.
It was
that
like
was
3
just a
pallets
DM.
full.
That was just a DM mistake.
Yeah, that was me not realizing how heavy pallets full of iron ingots are. It's 3 giant pallets at the very least, is what Jazero saw. So it is quite a bit.
He might have a ledger that says like details of what it's used for, or he might have notes.
Normally when people have ledgers of what they're buying, they have like what they buy, the price, and no reason.
You don't know. Sometimes people take notes. We'll see if he's got like an Excel spreadsheet or an Outlook calendar. We could just take...
What are you talking about?
A little black book that just says nefarious plans.
Yeah,
we'll find his diary. It'll be fine.
we'll see. I'm just saying. We'll put in there if we have a couple of minutes. I'm just gonna look around and see if I can find something that might say where it came from, what he's gonna use it for. If he's got, sometimes people like this keep information like that in case things go bad and he needs to use it or something. It's just I'm gonna look out for it. That's all I'm saying. But we have a plan. We have we have a few ways we can get out. We can always get right back to what was the closest fucking place? We just
as far as using a circle?
Yeah, we just got a new circle spot.
It's the Sevastopol. It's flying above the city.
That's what it is. Yeah, the Sevastopol.
Yeah.
So we could just go right back to that place.
The ship.
Yeah.
You're not away. Okay.
We go back there.
It's a thing, not a. Well, I guess it is kind of a place too.
It's in a thing.
It's a creature and a place.
We're on a planet moving 12,000 miles an hour right now. So
it's totally fair. Yep.
It's all more spatial awareness, I suppose. But
does the Nautiloid have a name?
Does what?
Jimmy.
Does the Nautiloid have a name, or have we settled on one?
Sevastopol.
Oh, okay, Sevastopol.
City in Ukraine, I think.
It actually is. It's like the second most important sea port city, I think, in Ukraine. I think it's in. It might even be in Crimea specifically.
It might be.
But anyways, And before that, for anybody else that is nerdy enough to know, well, not before technically, what I knew it from
Istanbul?
is
Constantinople?
no. The Alien. There's a the movie Alien. Remember? There's a space station called the Sevastopol.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nerd!
Which is presumably from the Ukrainian city, of course, but that's where I knew it from. Was from that. Anyway.
I just figured, because there isn't Sebastopol the city in the Bay Area? I just figured you'd just change that. I just thought you'd
So
saw that.
It's in the Bay
SEB?
Area?
Yeah, I think it's SEB Sebastopol. I think
Oh,
it's a
shit.
city in the Bay Area, if I'm not mistaken.
Sebastopol, California. Yep. Yeah, there is. Oh,
Holy
it's actually
shit.
it is Sevastopol. It's the same spelling and everything.
Oh, I thought it was a B. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Oh, hang on. No. Nope. No, you had okay. You had it right. I searched Sebastopol and it corrected it to Sevastopol, the one in Ukraine. But there is a Sebast with a B, Sebastopol, California.
Okay.
Yep. Nice
Look at
cheat.
us knowing geography and stuff.
Central Sonoma County.
Okay, I'm not gonna remember Sebastopol, so let's just call it Seba.
I don't care. You call it whatever
There you
you
go.
want.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that Deborah always goes by Deb instead of bruh?
Yeah.
No.
I feel like
Yeah,
Deborah
yeah,
would be
Justin,
better
that's
off.
real
What's up,
weird. You got to keep workshopping that one a
Bruh.
bit.
What's up, Brad?
That needs a little more work. That needs a little more stage work. All right.
All right.
Now it is a little after 10. Still no sight of Theo or Avar. What is everybody just closing in for the night to start, getting things ready in the morning? What's the plan?
Before everybody walks away, I'm going to ask if anybody can draw really well.
Hello, I've been drawing all our maps.
I cannot.
Would you sketch... I'm going to pull out a couple pieces of paper. Would you sketch a portrait of Avar and my dad? Because I'm going to go
Why?
give them to... So I can go give them to the city patrol or whoever the fuck is out there to keep an eye out while we fucking sleep. And then I'm going to go search for them in the morning.
Well, wait.
And you go to do your thing.
Between all of us, we don't have some way of finding them?
I mean, I can't. That's why I sent Noctua out.
I mean, I could always change into a canine form with a better sense of smell and try and track them down.
I mean, that was my plan for tomorrow morning.
I mean, if they're still
until
lost,
then-
maybe we should, I mean, it's not that late. We can still get a decent
know,
night. We've got an
but-
hour.
I know, that's why I'm going to give them the sketches so they can keep an eye out, send them back here if they find them. I don't know, maybe something happened and they lost their memory. I don't know. They may be fine. But if I haven't heard anything in the morning, then I'm going out while you go do your thing for Garrett.
Garrett.
But I at least want to get someone looking for them now.
Okay, so I'll make the sketches. If you can find something with a piece of their clothing or whatever that they left behind, I could go look.
You don't have anything
There's
for
probably
them.
stuff. There's probably stuff in their room.
I'm going
I
to
mean,
tell you
we
guys
can
too,
take
just as
them
a
there.
reminder, it's been a very long day. The fire and the fight in the sewers was all the same day.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty low on resources, and I think Pogo is fine health-wise,
Right.
but everybody else is pretty beat up. But even Norak took a couple of hits there, I think. But anyways, like you guys aren't in great shape. Not that you guys can still totally go investigate
just saying-
whatever else you want to do.
I'll give you like an hour.
Yeah, then, okay,
I'll
so
help you
too
look.
much longer than that, you guys are going to... Well, basically, if you guys don't get to sleep tonight in a reasonable amount of time, you will start suffering exhaustion.
Well,
I was gonna
know,
go look
that's-
for them for a bit and then come back in trance right away because my trance is only 4 hours, right?
Yeah, it's a little easier for you. You still have to spend... You only have to be asleep... Well, the trance portion of it is 4 hours, but you still have to have 6, I think it is, of non-activity. Yeah. So
And I
anyways,
plan on it, but I'm gonna go search for them for a bit first.
no problem.
That's fine. I just want to give the paper to the city guard.
Yeah,
and
so
then
what I'll
be
do
back to
is
sleep.
I'm going to make the sketches, I'll bring them to the city guard, and then I'm going to change into animal form to go look for them.
Okay. On your way out, then, you see, as soon as you step out the front door, carrying these... you're carrying the sketches, right, Arteme? Taking them out?
Yeah, I made the sketches.
Okay.
And colored them.
Then when you head out the front door, you see across the street, sitting on a little kind of a fountain outcropping, like the little brick thing surrounding it. Across the street is Hortensia, who's just sitting there, and kind of you see her breath is kind of like it's cold out. What is the word I'm thinking of? Not fog, not mist. steam. A little bit of steam coming off as she's just sitting there, clearly waiting for you guys to, essentially be done when you open the door.
Okay.
It's getting a little chilly out. Am I good to come back in?
Yep, I think we're all done. I'm gonna go look for our stragglers.
You're the old man and the boy?
Yep.
All right. Well, let me know if you need any help or anything.
Will
Put your
do,
hands
thank
inside.
you.
You make your way to the city watch. It is actually empty. There's only one, clearly like a younger deputy who probably pulled a short straw, sitting at the counter when you walk in. There's snoring coming from the bunks. There's clearly constabulary out on the street as well, but in this small office here, just the one. What can I help you with, miss? We're a little understaffed tonight.
We're not really like from town, but we were staying at an inn, and a couple of our party members didn't come back. So if you just keep an eye out to see if you could find them, and I'll give them the sketches.
And he kind of holds them both, looking at him. I can't say I've seen them yet, but I'll see. The next constable to step in, I'll hand these out, and we'll keep an eye out. Where can we find you?
The Gypsy's Gaze? Just send them there.
Gypsy's Gaze. I'm not familiar with that one. I'm a little new to town myself. Where might that be?
I'll pull out a map and show them.
Got it. Okay. Oh, I think I've definitely walked past there. I didn't realize that was an inn. All right, then if we find anything, I'll drop by and let you know.
Thank you.
And you're gonna turn into a dog, he said?
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside where there's nobody to see and turn into a dog in an alley, and then go try and find them.
Okay. Give me... Is anybody else doing anything during this time? I mean, Artemis out doing this. Is anybody else out in the city, or just Artemis?
I was going to, but I'm just actually changing my mind. I'll tell Petey Pablo to scan around through the skies for him, but seeing both of them go out, I'm just gonna stay back in place.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be any help with those two. I know it.
I'm just
gonna make things worse.
Ben, you said
I'll go out for a little while, before I get too terribly tired, I guess, but see if I can find Avar and Theodore. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and you said we could get like an hour before we have to come back and sleep.
It's not even. Yeah, I mean, it's not even that limited. You could basically midnight-ish should be fine, and then you're going to start getting really tired at that point. So if you don't get to sleep soon after that, you'll start suffering exhaustion.
Right, well then
so you have an hour and a half, 2 hours.
I will do 2 hours. I will use my last 4th and my 7th level to polymorph into a dog for 2 hours and just see what I can't find.
Okay. All right. Then 2 dogs and a Norok wandering in the city. Ben, Norok, you do get constant looks. Every single alleyway that you walk past, you see, blink of eye, like a light flash, torch flash. What is the word? Like when flashlight, reflects off of eyes. Down alleys of eyes going
giving
wide.
off a real rapey vibe there, Haas.
Well, just specifically that you're not seeing a lot of Yogg, especially even the Yoggs that you do see in the city are typically, on the rare occasion when you do, are usually kind of dressed in more city attire. That you're still clearly not a civilized Yogg, I guess is how I would say that, which is already its own contradiction. But anyways, in the rare occasions when you do see, a diplomat or something like that, then they're almost always, dressed appropriate for the city. So you're definitely drawing a lot of attention walking around, this late at night. But nobody, is brave enough to accost you or anything, so you just draw a lot of attention as far as looks. But in walking around, I need investigation checks from, let's see, it would be with dog, so you'll still have advantage from Arteme and Sarah, and Ben an investigation from Norok, but just a flat check.
What is the investigation for a dog? Should
Intelligence.
I just use my own? I would have the dogs.
You'd have the dogs, that's right. Let me look it real quick. I think it's intelligence is 3. Dog. I think it's intelligence is 3, if I'm right. Yep, 3. All right, so sorry, it's 4 actually, which is a -3. So roll 2d20, Becky.
I just makes it advantage.
It'll be disadvantaged, but that's fine. It was. What
Wouldn't
did you
it-
drop?
'cause I'm
Oh, sorry.
using my
No,
nose,
yes.
so it would be
Sorry.
cancelled, right?
Yes, Yeah, I was. I don't know why I was thinking advantage. It's definitely advantage. So -3 is a 10. Specifically, having a gym. You know what? Give me an idea of where specific, because the city's very large. Of course, this is the capital. So whereabouts are you looking?
Okay. I would have started probably the closest place that they could have gotten onto the
Okay.
thing from the inn.
Okay.
And I... No, maybe I'll save it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. You have trouble first just because the city is so packed, and you don't spend time using a dog nose very frequently. This is probably maybe one of 2, 3 times total in your life that you've ever done that, looking for something. So it's difficult to pick out their scent amongst all of the others in this bustling kind of important capital trade city. But you do eventually pick out specifically Theodore, and start following the tram. But 20 minutes in, and you can't follow it anymore. It's gone. So you keep following down the tram a little ways, hoping to pick it back up, and unfortunately, it just never comes back. You never find it again. You're not sure if it's whiffed, just from the wind blowing it off, like it's just that the smell has been blown away, and just is too faint now, or if that is where potentially they got off of the tram. You don't know, because clearly they're not on the tram anymore. But that's as far as you get with it.
I will... Shit. Alright, so was it on the tram itself, or like on the ground around where the tram is?
Where the tram would be. The trams aren't running at night. It's already, they've already stopped for the night by this point, but you kind of follow the light rail train tracks that are in the middle of the street for a ways until you get to that point.
Alright, I'm gonna start sniffing like out from that area to see if I can pick it up like farther out anywhere away from where the tram track is.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. You start kind of going in concentric circles, slowly growing concentric circles until kind of expanding the range out further and further. Give me another investigation check. This one, I'm going to say, even though you have advantage, it would be at disadvantage because of how long it's been, so we're going to call it a flat roll. Except for the -3 from the dog, of course. Hey, all right. So 16. Remember to use the AFK thing, guys. So just a little simpler for me, anyways. Assuming it still works, if you guys remember to use it. Yeah, it looks like it still works. And back. Yeah, cool. Then I can see the little thing. That way I know when gone or back. But anyway, in the kind of farthest reaches of it, because there's the kind of part where it stopped off the tram was an intersection in the street, and the kind of outer ring of this, as you're kind of beginning to give up on not catching anything, you catch just the slightest whiff, and it is another leading down, like another staircase, kind of a ramp, I guess, down into a doorway that is clearly closed and barred. Looks like it hasn't been moved in years, potentially, but down into the soakways. It clearly goes down into the soakways beneath the city.
Okay. I'm gonna go track down Norok and find Arteme and lead them over to it so they can at least see that, they went down that way, apparently.
Okay. It is, at this point, probably 11:30, so you don't have a whole lot longer, before you potentially would start running into... Like, you won't hit exhaustion now, just if you don't get to sleep within a reasonable time.
I just want to show them where it is.
No problem.
And then...
you find Arteme still in dog form, and you find Norok drawing constant attention with a small group that are kind of following from a safe distance of like half a block of just random city people that are kind of following along behind him, just wondering if he's going to rip open a door and eat somebody. But you find the both of them and lead them back. Guys, everybody, the 3 of you anyways, see this clearly like barred and secured by the city. Like, it's blocked off because the soakways aren't supposed to be used anymore. And this gated door It looks secured and looks to you like it's been that way for years. It doesn't look like it's been disturbed. There's not dust on it because it gets exposed to rain. But other than that, it doesn't look like it's rusted, essentially. It doesn't look like it's moved or been opened in a long time. In fact, there's debris and dirt all over the ground, and you can tell those doors would open outways, and they've not been opened because there would be a, kind of a wedge of dirt that had been pushed away from the door being open.
Okay.
Would
I pick up anything scent-wise?
Give me another investigation. Again, same for you. It'll be a flat roll, -3. Actually, you keep your mental stats. Yeah, you keep your.
I keep my mental stat. Oh right, my gosh!
But it is, but it is a 6. So
actually, you can re-roll that. I have one left. All right.
There you go. That's much better. All right. With a 16, you similarly do. You confirm that Sarah wasn't, just wishful thinking. You do confirm that you can pick up just the briefest sense of Theodore here. And now you're further down. Arteme, or Sarah, sorry, when you picked it up, you were like at the top of the ramp, and Arteme, you're down like right next to the door, and you can smell it there. You can't tell if he went through the door or not, but he was definitely here where you're standing right in front of the door now at some point.
Okay. Can I pick up the scent, like if I go left or right?
It's just the briefest whiff. You didn't even, you standing there don't continue to smell it. You just had a brief sense of it for a moment, and then it was gone on the wind.
Okay.
There's no trail to follow that you can tell. It's just been too long. It's been hours.
Is there anything in town we could think of that a little boy would want to see?
Yeah, what else is around us here? Like, are there shops here?
Yeah, you're basically down Garden. Yeah, this is on Garden Street. There's an intersection here. I don't have a name for the other street. Anyway, so it's kind of a pretty popular thoroughfare. Everything is closed up. It's not a bazaar street. It's like, regular brick and mortar type shops, and everything's closed up for the night. But yeah, there are shops all up and down.
So they could have just been shopping here. It doesn't necessarily mean that they went down.
Well, where you picked it up, it definitely could have been, because the sense you got was along the tram line and then left the tram line, and then you picked it up again at the top of this little kind of slope that goes down into the soakways. So it could have just been that they had stopped, got off the tram and then were shopping. But where Arteme picked it up is literally right in front of the door that would lead into the soakways, this door that doesn't seem like it's been open in a long time. So, I mean, not that they could have stepped down there to, have a bite or something like that. Maybe they grabbed food, but it seems abnormal.
All right, if I go up and touch the door with my nose, does my nose go through the door, or does it, stop at a solid door?
It's a solid door. Yeah, it seems, as far as you can tell, it is entirely mundane. Which, by the way, you can't communicate it if you're in dog form. So if you, I assume you reverted.
I was just dragging them back there, but.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I was assuming you. So you dragged them back, and then just like a pointer, a pointer dog, pointing at it. Okay.
At least until the spell wears off, just in case.
Well, you know how a dog just whines at you, wags its tail, and just wants you to follow.
Yeah,
she did that.
Yeah.
She pulled a lassie. That's fine.
By the kilts. What the fuck does he wear?
I hope it's not a kilt. He's awfully tall, and there's a lot of short folk in the group. The kilt does not sound like a good idea.
Like a loincloth or something. Does Norok actually have pants?
He might have them. I just don't know if he wears them.
I'm pretty sure he wears leather pants.
Alright, I'll revert back then. Look, I don't know how they could have gotten through this door, but it seems like they did. But I'm not going to be able to do anything tonight. So, you guys don't have to come back with me in the morning, but I will be coming back here to look and try and find
out. Yeah, we could definitely check out in the morning. I gave the guards the sketches and told them to send them to the Gypsy's Gaze if they found anything, or to let us know, so.
Thank you. Damn question. Mm-hmm. Were we supposed to tell people we were at the Gypsy's Gaze, or were we supposed to keep that hush-hush?
So,
I couldn't remember.
Well, basically, you're supposed to be keeping it quiet, yes. The Gypsy's Gaze is it's not even really a business. It's essentially a front. Think of it like a money laundering business, except for it's people laundering of getting people in and out of places for the Crowblinders. Well, it's not just for the Crowblinders, but specifically for people that John Rood and Pepperjack trust.
That's what I meant. So it is an actual inn, like it's not.
Well, I mean, there's a sign out front and all that stuff, but it's clear that Hortensia keeps it looking run down and gross so that people don't come in, so that she can be, able to be discreet when it comes to helping out people that Pepperjack.
Okay, so is there somewhere else I was supposed to send the constables to with that information? Like,
I'm sure it's fine.
The impression that Arteme got was clearly that even the constables barely knew this is supposed to be an inn of any sort. He said he's walked right past it and didn't realize it was an inn. So
yeah.
I'm sure Hortensia won't mind if someone stops by with Dad and Abel. It'll be fine.
All right. So what's the plan?
I'm going back to bed.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Norok.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna assume my bird friend didn't see shit.
Give me an investigation check for him as well. I forgot you had him gathered. Sorry.
He actually gets.
This would be
advantage,
sight-based. Does he get it up for advantage for sight?
He does.
Ben and Becky, I saw you just drop out of Foundry.
What?
Oh, there you go.
23, not bad.
Yeah, good roll. At this time, I'm going to go and tell you that he is like a hawk watching a mouse in a field type of thing.
Yeah.
Anything that is moving on the streets, he is going to be able to pick out detail on. And he very thoroughly checks over the span of about 2 hours or so while Sarah, Arteme, and Norok are gone. And nowhere does he spot Theodore or Ivar.
So when they get back to the place, I'm just gonna. So just to let you know, my bird was flying around, told me via my brain little signal here that didn't see him on the streets anywhere. So they're probably inside somewhere. If that helps.
Yeah. We may have found where they went into the Silkway, but we're not exactly sure how they got into the Silkway, because the door doesn't look like it's been opened in a really long time. But their scents were there.
Well, fuck, I guess. Not really sure what we're gonna do about tonight. We could do that tomorrow during the day. Take a look and go see if we can find him.
We have no knowledge of the connection of the subway to sewer systems or anything yet, do we?
Soakway is the old sewer. Yeah, so remember the first part of the sewer that you guys went in through was basically dry, not that bad. It smelled like seawater, and there was kind of an echo of the ocean coming up through it because it wasn't active use. It's basically the old sewer system that was like decommissioned and mostly blocked off. There are still places of ways to get in and out, and that's where groups like the Silent Road and the Peddlers work, like the Thieves Guilds and things like that. A lot of them work in the Soakway, even though they're not supposed to be down there. So anyways, that's this barred off entrance would go into that same place. There isn't supposed to be active connections between the Soakway and the active sewer system. While you were down there, the magician guy in the weird garb made a connection for you, if you remember that. And you guys kind of had to walk a weird, very odd way to get yourselves back because that connection.
Remember the guy dressed like the magician?
Yeah, that's who I was referring to. You guys can call him a magician.
Recognize that he was dressed like a magician, and it made a very uncomfortable silence.
To him, he did not understand why you thought he was dressed oddly for the occasion. Yeah. But anyone, or is everybody just going to sleep then?
Yeah, I'm gonna go trance and then I'm gonna do a bit of research in some of the books.
As Nazim and Bubbles need a long rest.
Yeah, keep that in mind too. Bubbles won't heal automatically from a long rest. He's an undead. He doesn't get a long rest in the normal sense. He can't sleep. And he is at 77 hit points, I think, out of 200 something. So, I mean, if you want him to be, a wall of hit points, he's at 74 out of 200. So he'll need some healing if you're going to do that. Just keep that in mind. But everybody that's going to sleep, go ahead and apply your long rest. We'll pick up in the morning.
Before I fall asleep, do I see any strange familiars headed my way?
Peering out the window, looking for any new trainees that you are all of a sudden responsible for since you got the last one murdered. You do not just yet.
Okay, that's good.
Did you tell anybody about that? I know you read the
Nope.
letter. Okay. All right.
Nope.
So nobody's
Nope.
going to know about that until. All right.
Nope. Sarah
I was
doesn't
actually
know
about
what
to say, like,
expect,
what the
so-
fuck are you talking about?
So Sarah, wait. Well, if you didn't,
I kind of remembered it. But
okay, yeah, because I read it out loud just for the sake of time. Because last game was a short one because I had to run to work. But Maiades was the name of the familiar that you're going to be responsible for training. Anyway, all right. Then morning comes. I thought I had the dark.
I'm gonna get up early and go meet up with Get Up at 8.
Okay. Then everybody's getting up in the morning. Pogo preparing to leave. Anybody doing anything before Pogo goes? We'll probably just start with Pogo stuff, and then we'll get back to the rest of the group unless you have anything specifically you need to do first thing in the morning.
No.
Are we just gonna go search around that door while Pogo goes and does his thing?
Yeah, I was just gonna grab a
Yeah.
quick bite to eat and then go in and look for the rest.
All right. Then I'm going to jump us over to. I guess. Well, since you won't all be there, that's fine. I'm gonna move everybody over to this one, but just remember, obviously, that it's just Pogo that's here. We'll give it a second to finish loading.
And before I go, I am going to go ahead and use the disguise kit to give myself a bit of a different look. Not too extravagant, but I'm gonna use it to make myself look a little bit older, like maybe 10 years, 15 years older, and just so I look a little bit different from my normal self, but not with magical means. And I'm changing up some of my gear that I have attuned as well.
Sure. What are you changing?
I took off the hat of disguise and I replaced it with the pearl of power.
Okay.
And I still have the
Thinking that
ocarina.
since so many of these places have the mirror curtains that you can't be,
Yeah.
the hat of disguise
Don't
wouldn't
trust
help you with. Yeah, that makes sense.
Roll here. I gotta roll 1d4 plus 1 second.
Roll what?
This is for charges, so 4 more charges on my ocarina.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was thinking you were going to roll hit dice.
I don't have a lot of
for
things with
longer.
charges, so I'm not used to rolling.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and making my way downtown.
Okay. You know the old clock tower, of course, that he's referring to. It's not far up the same street, in fact, Garden Street, a little ways east of the manor. You actually would have to walk essentially in front of the manor, so you actually do have a couple of minutes of being able to kind of surreptitiously peer over a shoulder and look at the manor as you're walking by without trying to draw too much attention to yourself.
Oh, the one we're breaking into?
Yep. It's literally down the street. But you do, walking by, nothing stands out, of course. You do see plenty of windows and so on. You don't see anything behind them. It's like it's kind of too far away to really
And
get
still
any
no
detail there.
automatons outside.
No, definitely not. You don't see Nils or Svali or Adi either, so you don't see anything basically on the outside other than the occasional bird flying over and so on. You do make your way to the clock tower, though. As you expect, the front door is locked up securely. Again, looks like it hasn't been opened in a long time. But you do know the kind of the secret way in that you and Garup and others and your old troop used to use. You kind of make your way back to the back, and there's a very ramshackle and looks like it's broken ladder that is laying down sideways against the floor. There's kind of there's a window that is up that the ladder would reach, but the ladder looks like it's broken and it's laying down on its side. You lift it up, of course, and carefully climb your way up through the window and then knock it back over so it falls back to the side. Something you had practiced many times in the past, trying to kind of make it less obvious, let's say, than anybody's inside.
Nothing obvious about the sound of a ladder just smashing on the side of a building.
It's the
Perfectly
backside,
normal.
and it's pretty quiet out there. It's surrounded by bushes and stuff, and it's wooden anyways. It just lands in the grass, so nothing super loud. It's not like an aluminum block here, that'll rattle. But anyways, you make your way up this kind of long, winding staircase. There's multiple broken steps that weren't there the last time, but it's clearly not seen much repair as you make your way up to the top. You find your way up to the top though, and Garup is there. He's got a pretty severe look on his face. Did you age so much overnight? It's been that long of a day for you?
I just figured if we're doing some work here, I might as well change the way I look. It wasn't quite so dramatic of back when I used to be here. It didn't seem like it was going to be such a dramatic couple of days. So I figured it won't hurt to disguise how I am. And plus, with all those Juthrans with their magical lanterns floating around, I didn't want them to think something else was up.
Right. So, down to business then, why I asked you to hear.
Yeah.
By now, I'm guessing you noticed that your friend's family, the old man and the giant boy, they didn't come home now, did they?
No, in fact, the rest of the crew were going to make their way to the sewer area to see if they could figure out what might have happened to him, but I didn't know that you were privy to this information. What happened?
He looks very uncomfortable, and well, you can make it insight if you want about that. But basically, he looks not happy about this either, I guess is how I put this. But he says, so the guild that are holding my leash right, they took your boy and your old man, and not to hurt him, mind you, just to make sure that things go smoothly at the manor. And then they insisted that I impress upon you just how important it is that you not fuck this thing up, right? So any questions on that?
Well, that, I suppose, make things more complicated. Can you give me an example of the things that would be completely unacceptable to this group holding your leash?
They care more about the information than they care about any damage or violence that may occur, but the quieter this can be done, the happier they'll be. If you could make it in and make it back out without breaking anything and no one the wiser, I think no harm would come to anybody, your side or theirs. I kind of hoped you'd bring your friends so that I could apologize in their stead.
Honestly, it's probably better that I'm not here to hear that.
Don't want the big man tossing me out one of these windows.
We don't need their emotions leading them to something more difficult than it needs to be. But the organization that has them,
Fifth column.
The fifth column. If things do go sideways, what would be our chances of getting them out safely? Would it be a price? Would we have to go in to get them out? Just hopefully it's nothing that we have to think about, but would it be a death sentence for them?
If things go sideways, we'll never see them again.
And the fifth column, are they something that we might be able to take on should that need arise, or is that just not even worth a thought?
I don't think so. It's they're confusing. They're really weird folk. A lot of them. I've met maybe a dozen of them on different occasions, just one at a time, mind you. But I swear that the math doesn't add up, because maybe 10 or 12 faces I've seen, but only 2 or 3 have people behind them. You know. Their skin changes is my thought. They could be anybody, could be anywhere. So I've taken to mind in my P's and Q's, if you understand me.
I'm guessing that means our chance of finding them right now is slim to nil.
Yep. Make a history check, Pogo. I'm gonna tell you that Sarah, for sure, this would be below passive. Arteme probably as well. Pogo, that's a maybe. Nazim not, because of Vabi and culture different, of course, but. All right. You have heard of a group called the Fifth Column, but not. This is like a historical thing. Like 80 years ago or so, there was a group called themselves the Fifth Column in Pale, the country that you guys actually just came from, specifically where Auburn and Eifelstead and the Juthrin Cathedral, where Pogo, where you were killed. Remember? Yeah. At that time, though, about 80 years ago, Pale was still a separate country. And you know what's funny about this is that I wrote all these notes like a year ago.
Yeah.
Before Russia invaded Ukraine. So unfortunately, it makes things sound a little more awkward there. But Pale was still a sovereign country at the time. The Empire was expanding, threatening to annex Pale into the Empire. You guys heard the same thing with Kedril and Pale and the Wood Plains and the Estermark and some other places. Basically, the borderlands are all previous non-Empire. They were their own countries until within the last 100 years or so. Anyways, the Empire's armies marched through the countryside, though, all the way to Eifelsted's walls and began laying siege to the city, where the Emperor himself said that although his 4 generals each had their column of soldiers surrounding Eifelstead, it was the 5th column, which was what he called the network of spies and assassins and subversives and stuff that are inside the walls, that would take the city for him. And they did. And that's what you've heard of the 5th column for, is because the people inside Pale were the ones who kind of overthrew their own government and then joined the Empire.
So
and that's what this group is calling themselves, the 5th column as well. But you don't know if there's any historical connection, because like I said, that was 80 years ago and nobody's really heard of anybody in the meantime of that. But that's what these group are calling themselves, apparently.
So kind of like the subterfuge arm of the military.
That's kind of the especially with references to Gith and skin changers and the melted people that you've heard, it sounds like these are connected ideas at the very least. Which you've also heard some rumors of people surrounding the Emperor, Simon Caius rather, were also likely skin changers of some sort. Remember the one that you guys found in the Crow Fort?
Mm-hmm. We know that was from the Emperor, though?
No, you just know that was supposed to be Clover, remember? Yeah. And you guys saw through it, and it attacked. And what he's describing here, he said that he's seen 10 or 12 different people, but he's pretty sure that there was only 2 or 3. They just had different faces and voices and stuff.
But if these people are professionals at hiding in the shadows, I don't think we're going to just be able to find what we're looking for. I guess my next question is, after this job's complete, how will we know it's to their satisfaction, and how will we get our friends back? Have they relayed any of that information to you, or is this just something that's kind of there? They'll find us, we don't find them type things.
That's generally the case. They'll let me know and set up a meeting, and we'll go and give them what they want, and they'll hand over, assuming everything goes well, they'll hand over the old man and the boy. Unless they have something else they want. It's really so far been the case. He points at his eyes. They haven't let me off leash so far.
Right. Well, it's not great news. I got to admit, this ragtag group I'm with, very capable, but not exactly the quietest of the bunch. We might have to make sure that we go in a little bit different from the usual. And if you're curious, we're planning on taking care of this as quickly as possible.
Well, because I have skin in this game as well, I was kind of hoping we could, hear your plan and spell it all out here in brainstorm. But since you didn't bring everybody, I don't know.
Well, we have a plan. We still have a plan to go in as quiet as possible. The problem is, we've already looked around and we've done some scoping of the interior. The outside, it seems, pretty quiet. But the inside, they have those robot automatons working the halls, and we found what we think might be a control panel for them. But the thing is, if we get in there and they spot us, there's not much we can do beyond that. It's going to be an action to where we can either get in there completely quiet, or the alarms will be thrown off in one swoop. It's just hard to promise, especially with lives on the line here with our friends.
Right.
We're pretty sure we could get through it without any human life lost, and even maybe not so much damage caused to the area.
From what I saw, there aren't a lot of humans in there to begin with.
There's only 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But the problem is, we're planning on just making it look like a robbery. Hopefully, if we have to, we'll make it look like a robbery. Otherwise, maybe we'll be able to get in and out without them even knowing we were ever there. Or at least not for a day's time.
If it gets that far, and you do have to give the appearance of it being a robbery, just make sure that the information you gather does not look to have been your target. Am I making sense?
Yeah. You're never going to believe this. The other people I was with, they don't think we're even looking for the information. I was like, no, we got to find some information. Like, no, there's going to go in the door. Anyways, I'm off topic. I digress. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I need to go let my group know about this this thing, and it doesn't really change our plans much at this point. If I'm being honest, we had a diversion plan, but we'll use that as a last resort if need be. Try to do this as quietly and quickly as possible.
He kind of I'm going to tell you that this stands out because it's strange. He kind of grabs your wrist as you're kind of preparing to turn and go, and he looks you in the eye and he says, "Would you do me a favor and express my sincerest apologies and condolences to your friends?"
Wait, what way does it feel weird? Does it feel like he's already apologizing for something he thinks may have already happened, or does it feel like he's just... Is it weird that he's apologizing? 'Cause it's not his...
It is weird that he's apologizing, and it's weird to see... how do I put this? You don't have a lot of instances of ever seeing sincerity from him, so you're not sure if he's not being sincere, or because you just don't have a lot of examples, to compare it against, or if this is just, a more maybe severe circumstances than he was otherwise expecting, and therefore, basically than you've ever seen from him before. But it definitely stands out because you've never really seen this kind of sincerity, and it's hard to tell whether it's real or not. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Okay.
Make it with disadvantage.
That's fair. Ka-too! Bomb, bomb.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. You're not sure if he is being sincere, and it just seems weird because he's usually very joking.
In that case, I'm just gonna be like, gay.
That's good. All right.
And as soon as I leave, I'm just gonna do my little acrobatics, jump off the thing without the ladder, like.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that you typically do that climber jump.
Superhero landing.
Yeah.
Wait, no, hold on. Reroll. Automatic.
They rolled. Right.
There it is.
Oh man, that would have been great if you broke an ankle falling out of this.
Yeah,
place.
no, I was like, that happens. We'll play through it. So as soon as I walk back, I'm gonna bring out my Rocky Talkie and listen, everybody. Pause what you're doing. Either stay at the gypsies or go back to the gypsies. I need to meet with you there. And I'm gonna start heading back to the tower. Or if they respond, I don't know if they've left yet. It hasn't been that long, so.
It was probably 40 minutes total.
Yeah.
With walk time. So, Sarah, Arteme, and maybe Norak, I think you guys were gonna go head out. I'm not sure if Nazim, were you still in the? Because Nazim's the only one without a Rocky Talkie. So.
Yeah.
Right, then the rest of you, except for Nazim, get that. Nazim still is at the Gypsy Gaze then. So I'll go and move us back.
I'm assuming we're at the door looking at stuff, so...
Okay. No new details. There's people like nonstop on the street walking both directions. There isn't through traffic on either side, so there's basically people going constantly back and forth. You get frequent occasional looks, especially with Norok there, whose head is basically at street level despite being 10 feet down.
Can we go inside where we're not just everyone looking at this our massive friend here?
Sure.
Let's just stop inside for a minute. Anyone inside?
You heading back into the Gypsy's Gaze?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody there. Hortensia's probably in the back. You hear noise.
Right.
That's all.
All right. So, we've got some news. The organization that my friend works for, apparently they may be some of those shapeshifters, the melting people that we've ran into in the past, and from some ability or another, they've been keeping an eye on us, and they're the ones that took Ever and your father. And the problem is their job is to live in the shadows, and their job is to basically provide these... What's that called? Clandestine. There it is. They're in charge of clandestine operations and subterfuge, and they're holding them as insurance to make sure we get this job done. We're not going to find them until this job is done. It's going to be on their terms to get them back to us.
So in other words, we have to do this job to get
we also have to do it the
our
way
people
they
back.
want it.
Uh-huh. But they could also possibly be the people that have Clover, since they sent a shapeshifter that looked like her to The keep? So they could be the ones that have Clover?
Yeah, not quite sure like what our best options are. The problem is, I just don't. I don't think we're gonna find him just from looking for him. Like, I don't think that's something that's gonna be in our purview. If we're being honest, I feel like if we even start trying, if we start pushing through, looking, they're gonna know it, and they're going to do something more brash than we would normally do. They'll call it then.
Okay, so what exactly do they want us and not want us to do?
Well, we got to find the information. We got to find why they're getting this, why he's getting it, and how he's getting all these riches, and how he's getting that. Basically, what has happened to change this man's luck to where he can afford everything he can afford, especially focused around these pallets of this black metal that.
Adderall.
Yeah, Adderall. 3 pallets of Adderall. But we got to do it as quietly as possible. Basically we need to make it look like a robbery gone wrong. If we make it look like anything at all, if we can get in and out without them even knowing we're there, the better. But if they find out we're there, we got to make it look like a robbery, and we got to make it look like we're stealing something else, not that information. It's got to make it look as though we're stealing jewels or something of that nature. And if we come across some information, we can read it, try to memorize it, make a copy of it somehow, and then we can leave.
Can't just take all the papers or information that we find?
We can, but the problem is we got to make it not look like that's what we're after. If it turns out that if this they call themselves the fifth column.
Sarah, you immediately know. Yeah, exactly. You know the history. You don't know any modern version of them, but all the history that I told Pogo,
Yeah.
You know all of that.
It's basically a group of spies and assassins back, long time ago in Pale, and now apparently this group calls them the same thing, but same type of MO, same subterfuge, same kind of spy nonsense. And I told him that I asked him worst case what's going to happen, and he can't give me a promise as to what might happen. And I'll be honest with you, he's not happy with how this turned out either. He's upset. He's upset. He didn't think this would get to a point that it did, and now we're in a bit more than we wanted.
So in short, he didn't think that evil clandestine people would kidnap an old man and a kid.
Not for this job.
I'm sorry, is he that stupid?
I think he's more just in over his head accidentally.
The
It
question
seems like
is,
something that he didn't have a choice in the matter.
yeah, but the question is, did they follow us and see my dad Navar, or did he tell them about my dad Navar? Because if he told them, then we're going to have an issue.
I can't imagine he'd do it. I can't see why it would benefit him in that way. He's not the kind of person that would hold that above our heads to think it would get us into a better situation. If anything, he probably thinks it's going to make it worse.
Not that he would have mentioned it in a bad way, but if he mentioned, yeah, they were with her dad and some kid, that
No,
why
I think-
would you?
I think this group just has eyes on him, and eyes on him mean eyes on us.
So then why did he drag us into it?
I mean, honestly, we kind of offered.
Yeah.
We're still looking for Clover, and he is a person that I know that has eyes and ears on the inside, and unfortunately it's
Yeah, because he said he could probably get us information on Clover for this, right?
almost guaranteed. I imagine that this is something that Clover's whole thing is probably something to do with the fifth column, but we didn't know that at the time, and now we're in higher than we would have anticipated. We're deeper.
Right. Well, there's nothing we can do about my dad Navar right now. Right now, we have to make sure that our plan is going to work for what we need it to do.
I think we just need to go in as stealthy as possible. Our entryway into the building, I think we can do that. I think we can still turn Norok, Sorry if you don't like it.
Hang on, just real quick, before we go too much further, what's Norok's response been to hearing all this?
Not much yet. Just,
No visible difference or changes in
No.
Norok?
He dies.
No, definitely pissed off, but I don't think I even need to say if anything happens that Norok is going to be chasing them down, no matter what the consequence is, even if I'm by myself. So I think by now it probably goes without saying. And yes, I'm obviously irritated, but keeping myself calm because, I'm not going to break chairs and shit here. It's not going to help anything. So.
Oh, if you say that out loud, Sarah's completely agreeing with you. If shit goes fucking sideways, you and me are both hunting their asses down.
Well, again, in my case, I don't think I even need to say that, Mr. Rage over here. So,
Just to let you know, I asked him. We were in a. I asked him if this was something that we could do, and he didn't say no. He did. I get the feeling that the biggest problem with that would be we're not going to be able to find him.
I'll tell you that Pogo, you below your passive would have recognized that it's something he has thought of more than once.
Yeah, so it's like knowing our skills and abilities. It's not beyond our scope to be able to maybe save them if we knew who they were. But I don't think we're going to be able to find them. That's the problem. They're going to have to find us.
Go
especially
sideways.
in a city this big.
I expect them to probably kill them immediately. I'm saying I will spend the rest of my life hunting them down, one by one.
Yeah, I mean, we should try to get the job done, but
we got time.
If we don't, or if they get hurt anyway, then I'm going after them. But if they don't hurt them, fine.
Yep.
I would still want to go after them and chase them down and kill them all, just because, hello, kidnapping a kid. I'm sorry, that is a no for me.
See, look how different this elf druid is compared to our last elf druid. The last elf druid was fine with killing kids.
Yeah.
They were children. They weren't even real. And besides, she liked animals way more than she liked people. So.
I still like animals more than people, but I draw the line at hurting kids. I'm sorry.
All right. So we just need it. Our plan's fine. And we can still, go a little crazy if it's necessary. But we need to A, make it look like a robbery if things go sideways. And B, we need to try to get out there as quietly as we can with that information. So the information about why his wealth changed 3 months ago, figure out why they're buying up all that. Adderall
is in short supply right now. I think they're having trouble producing it or something.
Dang it. Yeah, just bring some crack on. Let's get out of here.
Okay, the plan is going to be Nazim and I go and try and figure out the system for the automatons to see if we could either change them to our side or turn them against their masters, and the rest of you look for information. Is that the plan?
The problem is there's two. The room that I think a lot of the information is going to be in is got two of those automatons in it. So maybe
hence the trying to turn the automatons against their owners instead of us.
Or even just shut them down. If we could shut them down or turn them off.
But if we shut them down, they definitely know something's up. If something happens to where we could either control them to move them where we want them.
Yeah, either of those are fine.
And then turn them against their master, that'd be kind of the best case scenario.
Just we don't want them to murder the masters either. We don't want them to murder people.
Well, if they murder the masters, that's their own fault for using automatons. I'm sorry. There's risks with everything.
We didn't do the software update. There was a firmware error.
Yeah, they only got 2.5 of Asimov's laws. I think it was Asimov, right?
Yeah, it was.
3 laws of robotics.
It is. All right. So again, same plan though. I'll probably just take a look through the windows of the office itself to see if there's any difference in the behavior. Even if you can at least get them out of the office and doing something else, we just need that room available to get to. And then I can have Lizard Girl unlock the windows and hopefully unlock the doors inside that room.
Okay, so just to make sure, not supposed to kill the people. Make it look like it was a robbery for something else, but can we kill the automatons?
I don't
our
think
way
that's
through?
the. We're supposed to just try to be as quiet as possible. If
I
we
know,
if
but
we
I'm
start
saying,
killing
like, if
automatons
something
and the
happened.
guards come and there's a big, we don't want a huge investigation.
No,
We don't want
what
people
I'm saying
asking
is that, like,
questions.
if we get caught by an automaton, if we can kill it, hopefully without getting anybody else to show up, that is okay? Or is that going to be oh, that's a fuck up, we're gonna kill your dad and your son?
I'll be honest. I don't have. I tried to ask him and he didn't really know the answers to that. He thinks. I mean, I feel like if we can at least get the job done, then it'll be all right. I think they're probably holding them more as a, just a incentive, but let's just do our best to do it in that way, to do it quietly and do it the way they want. Now that we've got a little bit more skin in the game than we did before. So let's
Not really, because like we were already incentivized to do this. This is just an incentive for me to want to kill them.
Oh, listen, if we meet up for a handoff, we can figure it out then. But this is, that's going to have to come at a different time.
Just in case things go south, we do know how to shut down the automatons.
Yeah. Pull out their swords.
No, he put a thing from one of the fucking Marvel movies. I can't remember which one it was.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for the bad news, guys. I wish it was something better. I was hoping he just had a question about his taxes or something. I was wrong.
Though we did already involve the city guard to look out for Avar and Theo, so how's that gonna work now?
Well, they're obviously not going to find him. So.
Do you want to get that back and just say they showed up? We found them. They're fine.
Sure.
Just that way, they're not going to keep
Nora and Sarah, but that one.
I figured it won't hurt if we just pull that back. I don't want them. I don't know.
I think Sarah's just gonna go up to an empty room and just sit down in a dark corner somewhere and see if she can't call Shan without, like, summoning Shan.
How do you mean?
Just to kind of hang out with Shan. Like, I don't have a target
Okay. You just want her to
for
come in and lay on your feet?
Yep, just like have her lay across
you've done
my
that
lap.
before. Yeah, you've done that
and
before.
just cuddle with her.
It still costs you the points to do it, though, so go ahead and mark those off if you want to do that. But she doesn't have to have a target in that sense, meaning, if you just want to summon her, that's fine. You don't have to summon her to kill something.
Yeah.
But it is going to cost you your sword points to do it.
At the mood Sarah's in, she will. She'll just sit down and summon her and just sit in a dark corner and just cuddle. She is mad and angry, and she doesn't know what to do at this point, so she's just gonna step away.
Sure. Shan appears in an eruption of shadow that fills the room, kind of blacking out what little light does come in through the dirty windows, and then kind of sensing the situation is not one where she needs to bite something, just kind of settles down and sets her very gross, too many toothed and too many eyes, face down or head down, down at their feet. Her whole head is really more than your legs, so.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just gonna lay my head on top of hers and just sit there.
Alright.
Oh, with a window open in case something comes flying through.
Sure. Okay. Alright. Sorry, I had to finish something up here real quick. I forgot to put a token together, so I just did that real quick. Alright, that is done. It is still at this point, guys. It's probably after that discussion, 9:15-ish in the morning, so still pretty early. You still have basically the rest of the day, so unless you guys want to jump straight ahead to evening time when you're going to go get Bubbles and Nissy.
I'd like to take a moment to possibly find some potions or hoard together a little bit of a healing regiment here, so that way we can heal up Bubbles. Bubbles needs quite a bit of healing.
Okay.
And I just have 2 potions of healing. So is there anywhere locally that I could just pick up some potions or something?
They're not cheap. Arteme, when she was at the Everbright, which is not too far away, just a few blocks away, she had mentioned that there are potions for sale there. They still have plenty. It's not, a stock issue or anything like that, but they're not super cheap. And you also know that potions probably have a little bit of reduced effectiveness because he's undead anyway, in that he's probably not going to consume, as wouldn't be needed, basically. So he's probably not going to get a whole lot of healing from that. Other sources would likely be better. Regular dental of some sort would probably be better.
I'm sorry, regular what you said?
Dental, healing magic.
Healing magic, aka me.
All right.
I guess
We might have to resort to that a little bit.
It's up to you guys. You guys still have the day, so what are you doing with the day?
So we have the whole day, but do we get to rest in before we do this?
You got your long rest already for the day. So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, you won't have time to take another long rest before going, no, because, at least from the plan, you had told Missy that you're going to be picking her up at 9 p.m., well, meeting her at 9 p.m., and it is about 10 a.m. at this point.
Okay. Okay, that complicates things a bit. I could heal it, but then it'd be very low for the next stuff, so...
Okay.
Because he's undead, I was going to say you could find, a cleric in the city to help you with that, but him being a giant undead rat ogre is probably not, you're not going to find a lot of sympathetic, clerics that are willing to heal probably there.
Oh, wait, some of my spells don't work on undeads, too.
You cast any as a ritual?
The healing spirit is 10. If you just used healing spirit, even at a lower level, Fox, that's still a good chunk. That's 10. If you did it for a full minute, it's 10 times whatever level you cast it at. Level 2 is 1d6.
Okay, but I already with that one. The thing with that one is even if I cast it at a lower level, because I have this Sage's Chorus, it automatically puts it to
max healing or something, right?
It ups it a couple levels at the very least.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
How long does it take to attune something? How many hours?
An hour to attune. Yeah, short rest. So it's an hour to attune, and then...
Reason why I'm saying this is I can unattune my gloves and attune my ring of healing, use the 3 surges, unattune and reattune the gloves again prior to going into combat.
Yeah, you have time. Yeah.
Okay, well, I
That'd be your 2 short rests for the day, but you could do it, yeah.
Any healing magic by the wearer is empowered, acting as upcasted by 2 levels. So even if I go at the lowest level of healing spirit, and it'll automatically upcast by 2 levels, and then heal it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, just healing spirit alone with the Wood Sage's Chorus would make a significant chunk of healing.
Sure.
You also have something in here, I thought, where you can max the... Oh, that's your medic thing, where you can max their hit dice rolls. There,
You might also get... Do you have one of those things where you get slots back on short rest?
Not particularly.
No, she doesn't.
Let's, I'll do the unattune and reattune my healing surges and heal the rat 3 charges.
Okay.
3 individual charges up close for the maximum amount of healing. And then whatever else we need to heal him up, then we'll just figure that out at the end. That way we don't use up our good stuff.
You can do... It has 3 charges to spend 1 hit die. Okay, so you can do 3 separate hit die. He's not restrained or unconscious, so that's fine. His hit die would be... I'm going to call him a barbarian as far as stats are concerned, which that's a d12, I think. Ben, yours are d12s, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, d12, cool.
Yeah.
I just pulled yours up to check. Sako, roll 3 d12.
3d12?
Hang on, and actually, while you're doing that, Fox, Arteme, if you would be there with him, the medic feat, don't you have a thing where they automatically get max if they're using hit dice?
Yes.
During a short rest, you can help clean and bind the wounds. On success, creature spends a hit die during this rest. It can forego the roll and instead roll them. Okay. Fox, roll 3 wisdom checks separately. Or 3 medicine checks, sorry.
Potentially, this is 36 points.
Potentially, yeah. So basically, any that she gets over 15, Well, that's 17. Good. So because of that expertise, that's huge. So that's 1. And that's 2.
Double
Right, cool.
expertise for that.
All right, so that's 36 hit points from the ring, Sako.
Okay, let me add that in real quick.
That puts him straight to 100. So he's at 100 out of 200 now.
That works. 100 out of 200, or actually that's 110, isn't it?
No.
70.
Oh, yeah, sorry, 36. Yes, it is 110.
So 110.
Yep, I was thinking 64, not 74.
Okay, so I put healing spirit, but I'm having a bit of trouble with the math. My head is not really good for that right now.
No problem. It is, well, what level are you? What spell slot level are you using?
I'm doing it at level 2, but it's all automatically upcast to level 4.
Let me look at the Wood Sage's chorus real quick.
It's by 2, so
It's upcast by 2?
At 2,
Okay.
it's 4.
All right, so level 4 on your healing spirit. Let me find healing spirit again. Oh, I put it in the spirit itself. That's what I did to make it easier. All right, so Fox, go under player character stuff and go to healing spirit.
Okay.
And you see where it says go to features, and then you'll see heal L4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be 10 times. Okay, so it's 3d6. So in the chat box, type /R space 30d6.
Whenever it decides to go back to the chat, it's like...
We just wanted to see what the dice was in 3d6 for level 4, so... It'll
It's
be
not
30.
going back to the chat. I'm going to refresh the page.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, can you guys hear me chewing, or is that like not?
Just now, when you unmuted
Okay.
yourself for that, yeah. Fox, oh, yeah, I don't see you. Oh, because you're refreshing. Duh.
I might have to update the browser again, because like, there was an update yesterday, and there was another update today, and it's just...
No problem. You want me to run it for you? Oh, I see you back in now. Ben, were you saying
Yeah,
something, or
it's
were you talking to Becky?
He's talking to the
Talking to the
dog.
dog. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard you murmuring something. Wasn't sure if it was supposed to be to us or not. While Fox is doing that, anybody else doing anything for the day? Because we sell, you basically have 10 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Pogo, I know he's been in the city before, but would he know of a library? He would like to go try to see if he can find anything about Corvalane magic. So, preferably a library that has books on ancient magical entities, types.
There is the tower in the city, but it is still surrounded by like storm clouds. The tower at Hyreth is the tower that Sarah has to go to do her test. Normally, it would be here in the city, and there is a tower of high sorcery here in the city, but it is like closed, and that's where pretty much arcane, an arcane library of that sort would be, especially considering the age of any information on Corvalane would be. You think it would be difficult to find. Give me 1 second, though, because that was supposed to be 30 d6, so I'm going to roll 20 more, and we'll stat it. 20 d6, since Fox stepped away for a sec. All right, so I think he's back. Yeah, that's 100 or 105. Sako, go ahead and put him at 200. That one cast was enough to heal him up the rest of the way.
Okay.
Takes a full minute of the healing spirit kind of standing there, but it is enough to give him the full cast.
All right, he is
all right.
next.
All right, so then for Pogo, the thing is it would be the kind of thing that the very little information that there would be here would probably only be accessible to known people. A stranger in the city essentially is probably not going to be able to talk their way into that kind of information. I would say that it would be probably outside of the possibility of you being able to talk your way
So
into
I'm
it.
guessing this is like, I go to a library, I ask the librarian about it, they look at me like I have no idea, check here, and I check like 3 sections and I can't find shit except for like nothing is like, I'm like, oh, this is not where I need to be.
Yeah. And
All right, well, then I will waste 3 hours of my day.
All right. So the thing is there aren't a lot of people that even know what it is you're talking about, and then the couple that do are suspicious, because to be asking that kind of question is usually not, that'd be necromancy, essentially. You'd be asking about necromancy, which here is illegal, and therefore would make that, certainly strange. So yeah, it'd be quite difficult to get that to kind of earn the trust. Sure. I mean, you're not being arrested for it, but
what are we, fascists now? Banning books?
Yeah, really. What kind of country would do that? But you'd probably need to kind of earn the trust of somebody in that field first before they would even begin to talk about those kinds of things with you. Here, in obviously the difference in culture would be very different were you in a Vabian library, though. So keep that in mind in the event that you guys end up in the Vabian continent in the next arc. Wink, wink. That's not a surprise. You guys know, obviously, with my EB being healed up, that was your intent, is to go behind enemy lines at some point, anyways.
Murdered.
Yeah, that's not a huge spoiler there. So,
so the only other thing that I was going to do is I was going to retrek around that the house, the manor that we're going to be breaking into, and I want to look to see if there's any signs of the peddlers. So any of those signs around any of the sewer grates or any kind of entrances, any kind of place where we could get out away from there, like a
getaway plan to get back into the soakways real quick if you needed to. All right, so the
I think it's like a diamond with an O on it that we saw.
Yeah,
before.
it's a up and down diamond, like a kind of like a Zelda rupee shape, right? Vertical kind of shape, or a tall diamond with an eye shape in the center.
Pale blue ones, not the white ones, for some reason.
which is difficult because of age.
Yeah.
But that was specifically to find where the Silent Road is, not the peddlers. But yeah. Anyways, the a path though from specifically on the on the surface from the manor to the nearest way into the soakway to be able to kind of find your way down into the soakway is not super far. It's probably 100 yards or so. If you're just walking, you can it'll take you a minute or something, whatever, to get there. But if you're trying to run or maybe teleporting yourself short distances, things like that, you can. Go ahead.
I'm guessing that's 100 yards outside, like the fence.
Yeah, not from the front door, but basically once you're on the street outside of the manor. Although actually the front door is just essentially a few steps. So I mean, it's pretty close. The front door is almost on the street as it is. You don't have to walk a long pathway or anything to get to it. But anyways, yeah, there's essentially a similar kind of sloping down to a secure door, except you can see where this door, the what I'm referring to is basically looks just like the one where you got the scent of Theodore and Avar, well, Theodore specifically, at the other part of the street. But from here, you can see this door has been open somewhat frequently, and it's quite obvious, which means that they're probably paying off the city watch or something to that effect to kind of leave them alone down there.
Cool. And I will revert. I will let the group know that there's another spot we can get back into the sewer way
as a possible getaway plan,
just as a secondary option.
Cool. All right. So you've got all that, Nazim and Arteme, over the span of 2 hours total, with the kind of redoing of your attunements, Sako, for Nazim. You finish healing up Bubbles. You leave him. You're kind of at the entrance into the soakway there, so he's still not visible on the streets or anything like that. By now it's 1 p.m. or so. So anybody doing anything or just killing time until evening?
What are the skills people could work on, like to improve?
I mean, it's kind of you need to be creative and come up with how you would do it, and then we'll discuss possibilities of working on a skill as far as earning proficiency with it. I assume that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I just like I'd want to, I guess, get what was it? Perception a bit higher.
That's a hard one.
Like half.
That is a hard one. You are
go to an optometrist.
I get corrective lenses. Perception's wisdom based though.
Yeah. And stealth, yeah.
Both of those would take a good chunk of time, but you come up with a plan on what you think is a decent idea, and then we'll figure out on how you would train those things in downtime, and then we'll start making rules for those the way that you studied on medicine. Like medicine, obviously, is just read a book. Neither perception nor survive or stealth rather are kind of book reading type things.
Well, for the perception, what I could do is do like a bit of a game of putting items like on either a table or something, looking at them very quickly, and then like either covering them up or something to try and see how many was there and like what was there and like describe them. For the
You could do that with help. You could easily do that if anybody else is going to kind of work with you. I would say that both of you, you and one other person, can try to kind of train that at the same time by doing that for each other.
Have you tried ginkgo biloba?
Apart from the artificial improvements to kind of train this skill, that'd be fine. I was going to say that how I trained Harold, for example, is if I say this word, he'll jump up and get all my dog. He'll jump up and get all excited, so I'm not going to say it out loud. But one of his favorite toys is a little fluffy rodent, the kind of rodents that gather nuts in trees and aren't as disgusting to most people. He really loves them.
They're adorable. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves that word, and if I say that word, he'll get very excited because that's one of his favorite toys. But I take those. Yeah, there you go. That's it. And I'll hide it, and he'll go and find it and have to bring it back to where his toy box is. So same kind of thing essentially, where hide something in a room, and then between one person hides it, the other person has to find it without minimal knocking things over, moving around.
Oh, okay. Like so people have to find it stealthily. How's that? Without
Fine.
making the least amount of noise.
Honestly, you guys are about to essentially do a heist anyway, and that's exactly the kind of thing you'd essentially be doing. But
I mean, that's basically what we have to do. But might as well train the skills a bit. Well,
sure.
We're waiting. If anybody wants to join in on the fun?
Anybody?
Quick question though, because I may have something else I'll be doing. Can I practice the reactive channel energy without burning slots, or do I have to burn slots to practice?
Yeah, you'll specifically be having to burn the energy to see how you can do it efficiently.
Great.
If assuming that you want to be because assuming that you're wanting to try to work on the efficiency of it, then you'd have to burn the energy to see how you could potentially make it better, to do it more energy efficient.
Thought so, but I wanted to make sure. So yes, I will join in the stealth training then, while keeping an eye on the window for flying familiars or crawling from. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Just
you don't know what he is yet. Yep.
Windows open.
You just know that Corinzantula said that he's cute.
It'll find me.
Give me.
Coming from Corinzantulus could be not.
He also said Camazoth was cute. Yes, and Camazoth was. You got him murdered, but was a very large and pretty gross-looking vampire bat.
Yeah, see, I personally hate vampire bats, but Sarah probably would have been like, it's a familiar, it's adorable, so Sarah may think it's cute too.
Alright, then Sarah and Arda, may both of you give me 3 perception checks.
This is going to be great, my perception is terrible.
Hey!
Oh.
So one success each. Not success for that second one. 2 successes for Sarah.
I'm wasting all of my good rolls on practice for perception.
And another success. All right, so Arteme, make 2 check marks in your notes, and Sarah 3 check marks.
All right. Need a new piece of paper.
What about stealth?
By the way,
go ahead.
Does anyone want to? I'm kind of look at Norak. Do you want to put these smuggler shoes on, or does anyone want to wear these? I've got elven boots, and I think Arteme has elven boots. But these will basically disguise your footprints with an animal. I mean, it's not much, but it's something.
I don't even know if they would fit me.
It's neat because they stretch.
Nope, they don't.
Oh, they don't stretch?
Nope.
No, we rolled that out like the first time.
Yep. Now, something like that, if you wanted to, really wanted to, you could essentially cut off the
break
top of
his
the boot and
feet
just use
and
the
make him
sole.
smaller.
Bind them. You could, cut it down to just the sole and then strap the sole to your foot or something like that. You could still kind of pull it off that way, but they don't automatically change shape and size. Which is why Norak is very limited in the options he gets when it comes to cool magic items.
The rest of my afternoon, by the way, is just spent going over the really nice thieves' tools that I took off of Joris's or whatever his name is, his body.
Okay.
So I'm just going over I'm
It's
studying
Toju,
him.
by the way. Okay.
Told you.
You
all
you
those thieves'
you
tools.
sold the ring, but you kept everything else,
I
right?
kept the thieves' tools. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, they are glimmering and clearly gilded. Like they're very expensive and like not a scratch on them. He clearly took exceptional care of them, despite wear. Like you can tell they've been used, but not otherwise scratched or damaged. Yeah, they're something he clearly took a lot of pride in. All right, so that's going to cover Pogo Pogo, Sarah, and Artabe for the rest of the afternoon. Nazim and Norak, you guys doing anything?
The mansion's windows, the first floor, I'm assuming they're just regular height, 6 feet, 8 feet or so. Is there?
Yeah, they're pretty standard shaped windows. I'll tell you that the ones that you can see from the street, when you're like, if Pogo was a little bit further away and kind of walking by, didn't see anything. But if you're looking specifically at the windows, the that's a corgi. That's what my dog is. Well, both my dogs really. Esther is a healer, corgi and healer mix. But Harold's.
Well, that's Ein. It's a character from a show.
The two front windows, though, that from the map, Nazim, you've seen that this is the office, like this is the ground floor office. The windows in that office are, like, clearly there's a curtain or something behind them. They're blacked out. But there are other windows on the first floor that you can see through.
Yeah, what I was going to say is there a way I could just walk around the property? Just essentially just walk circles around the property, just nonchalant. Obviously, when applicable, floating my 2-3 feet a little bit higher. To see if I could just peer into the windows as I'm just walking by, just to see if there's any movement or record how many people.
Two sides of the manor are like on the street, and then the back of the manor and the other side are not. So you can't get to both of those. But the two sides that you can see look quiet and dim. Like it's not black inside, because there's clearly a lot of like natural light on the inside of the place as well, and the windows you can see through, you can see pretty clearly. You don't see any movement or anything inside, and it otherwise seems unoccupied.
Okay, and I know this goes without saying, am I close enough to check for any arcane magics around these windows or gates or doors as I'm walking around the building, whatever I have access to? Because I'm looking for traps or looking for locks or just looking for any magic on the physical, I want to say the physical exterior of the building.
Okay. Give me an Arcana check with advantage.
By the way, I like that we're all going separately. This is much, much more subterfugey.
Well, I mean, we're not
all going as a group, and we're all like staring at it like it's Disneyland.
Yeah, I thought you were being sarcastic there, but yeah, no. If everybody goes by one like this, you're not drawing attention this way. This is pretty ideal, and I will tell you that
looking for different things. It's
good. Yeah, I will tell you that this actually matters. You may not think that it does, but the planning that you guys are making is going to make a big difference when it comes to DCs on things. And if you just decided to say fuck it and just ran in, it was going to be a death trap. But if you guys are actually taking it careful, which it seems like you are, and kind of trying to think it through, that'll make a big difference on DCs on the checks you need to make inside. Anyways, you didn't roll great, but because you walk by multiple windows that you keep getting this kind of certain twinge, you recognize that if not all, at least most of the windows have a sheet of recondite in the glass, either right behind it or right in the glass. That is protecting the window from intrusion. The door seems to similarly be covered. And make one more for something you asked about earlier. Another Arcana check.
So essentially what it is essentially a lead lining for magic perception.
Yeah, the impression you get is that there's a field that is supporting the windows, and if you were to try to throw a rock through the window, nothing would happen. It might crack the glass, but it still wouldn't go through. Same for the door, unless the door, unless that ward was removed, essentially. So yeah, think of it, bulletproof glass, essentially, except a magical version of that that you're seeing in every window that you check, essentially, that you can kind of look at without drawing attention to yourself.
So from what I can discern right now, if I were to just, not that I would, but if I were to send bubbles through a window, nothing would happen. If I were to send bubbles to just shoulder check a door to knock it down, nothing would happen, because the physical door may break, but there's a magical ward.
Correct. You'd have to get the ward removed before anything would go through it, yeah.
Okay. I think we have someone that has a spell that can do that, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And because of something you asked earlier, make one more Arcana check, just flat, though. In fact,
Okay.
Yeah, flat roll. I was going to say disadvantage, but I think you're proficient, especially at level 14. Okay. You had asked if there was, a magical envelope or anything of that sort surrounding the place that is. Well, I guess the specific inference that you had asked about was whether the automata would go outside or were otherwise kind of restricted due to, some field around the house. And there is what's called, does anybody remember Starvald? It's order. So you have Azul, which is chaos, and Starvald is its opposite. There's an envelope of Starvald energy surrounding the manor itself. You on probably maybe one occasion if you're walking around from two sides and not repeatedly, because if you walk back and forth you're going to draw attention to yourself, but if you just walk around the block twice, let's say, and look occasionally through a window with careful glances, you're not going to draw too much attention. And in all of that you only catch just one glimpse of an automaton inside, and you gather from the look and the design of it, it probably is also powered by Starvald, which the envelope surrounding the place would give you some basic intuition that they probably are either not capable or not willing to pass the envelope.
Gotcha. Worst case scenario, we could book it, but at the same time,
it doesn't mean you guys can't. It means that
yeah.
the automata do not go outside, is the impression you get.
It's the
Yeah.
The tag game. It's home basis if we get outside the house, pretty much. They can't follow us if we can get out. All right.
Sounds like slavery with more steps.
Pretty much.
I mean, from the information you have about the Tatusians that are trapped inside of the... this happened 100 years ago at that point, but, 35 years ago or something like that, during the Stolen Century. The vast erudition when that group, which was Ben, Becky, and Sako, when they met the Tatusians that were trapped inside of those creatures, those robots, this is not something they were happy about.
Do we as a team have any information that would undermine their I guess I'll use this term loosely, their enslavement? In other words, do we have anything or any wisdom or knowledge that we have as a team that would assist in that? Maybe change them or twist them? Or
keep in mind that you wouldn't have that uniquely. Every sentient creature has that same information that came from the vast erudition. So you would have to be unique amongst 10 billion people on this planet. It's a very large planet. 10 billion creatures, let's say sentient creatures, because not just humans, obviously, that nobody else has thought of. So it's not that it's impossible, but because anybody else would have had that information. Granted, very few would have local communication with a Tatusian to be able to act upon it, but not necessarily anything you can think of off the top of your head, unless you can tell me an idea, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
So if Sako has an idea that Nazim may come across, that's fine. We can explore that, but not just a topical idea, because, like I said, anybody else would have also potentially had the same thought. So
that's it.
What are we doing?
My turn.
All right. So Nazim returning back to the house. What's Norak doing, G? Spending the afternoon.
I guess just is there anything that we need that we needed to buy or anything before we go? Anything for tonight?
I can't carry any more shit. I'm full up.
Okay.
I will point out that you guys have... I don't know that anybody thought of this necessarily, but Nazim doesn't have a walkie-talkie, and one of the things you had mentioned when you got to the city was to try to buy him one that you could attune to the same, clamshell, essentially, that all of you are on.
Okay, yeah, we should...
Yeah, so that's at least something that you guys... I don't think you had it on your shopping list, but you had talked about it, months ago, about
trying
to
to
buy one.
Us that can just speak to each other using, without the walkie-talkie? I can't. I should. Weird that I can't, honestly.
I can if you guys are relatively close.
Like how close? Like a mile?
No.
Oh, like 30 feet?
She means whispering like this.
Yeah.
5 feet.
I can use this magical power called my mouth.
It's 120 feet.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
I mean, when he's... Yeah. What I was going to do is I was going to keep the Juthron one as a Juthron for now, until I could figure out what their plan is and if the tracking is down, and then I was going to change it to the same frequency.
That's true, yeah.
Unless we buy a new one.
Yeah.
So that is just like for now. Because I don't want the Juthrans to catch up with us. I was keeping that as a back pocket.
Yeah, that
communicating.
That would essentially save you guys 125 gold, basically, if you just kind of retune that one. So that does make sense if you're just holding on to it until, and then retune it.
Until we're done with this, and then I was going to retune it. And once we know the Juthrans aren't going to catch us, or Jazera? Is that her name?
Jazera,
yeah.
is the maid girl.
Yeah.
Not not.
You're taking ownership of the maid.
I'm not. No, she's honestly a bit frustrating.
Pogo, make a. Yeah, I guess intelligence check, because there's not really an associated skill. Just make an intelligence check with advantage, Pogo. All right.
So, this is just a thought, but you could probably maybe sell it to some less unscrupulous people. That little earpiece, that little walkie-talkie that the Juthrans on the Juthrans channel.
Why would I do that when we need the information right now?
I mean, we can hold on to it now, but if we're going to leave the city, perhaps we could just, get a couple hundred gold for it.
I was just going to give it to Nazim.
I works too.
Change it to Earl.
I'm letting you know, it's something that I feel like, based off how they're acting here in the city, they could probably get that. People might want it. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, people might want it, but people have also not really, they haven't actually been helpful with it, considering they're believing the propaganda of.
Yeah, but maybe if they had a channel into that, they wouldn't.
Okay, so you guys know what the Underground Railroad was, right? Historically?
Yeah.
So think that, but for mages. That exists in the city. You've talked to like 5 people in the city. It doesn't mean that nobody's willing to help. It just means that the average person isn't. And what Justin's referring to there is that there are people that would pay a lot more than what that walkie-talkie is worth, what a brand new one is worth, way more than that, specifically so that they could listen in just like you're intending to do. So if you when you guys are ready to leave the city, if they use that to kind of keep themselves apprised of what the Juthrans might be doing.
Okay, so you're saying sell that one and buy a new one and keep the profits. There you go. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
We'll just keep the profit.
We could do that.
When the time comes, and that way you still get one for Nazim. Yeah, assuming you're not all dead or arrested. You could buy Nazim a brand new one, and then still have a lot of extra money by selling that one, to people that could use it to get mages out of the city or keep them safe and so on. Anyway, all right, then if we are all done, anything else that anybody needs to do as far as preparing, or are we ready to start this bitch?
I think I'm as close as we can now. Now, Norak. Have we decided if we're turning him into something? I just don't know. I don't.
Is anybody actually going to ask Norak? What do you feel? What do you think?
If the windows are on the bottom floor and they're big enough for him to get through, then it'll be fine.
Nazim just brought back some information for you there.
Yeah.
I can carry that issue.
Huh?
On a window. I can dispel magic on a window.
Okay.
Right? Because it's just on the window itself. It's not like it's the entire house.
And we can still see through the window, even if it's got the spell on it. And we have Lizard Girl to be able to get into the window if it's locked. So that dispels it. We'll get in the window. And doesn't someone have a ring to make them invisible? I'm very small. You're very small. Arteme she's put on a few pounds, but Norak is huge.
Jeez.
Okay.
And we have a way of him.
Being invisible isn't going to do him any good because the automatons will be able to see him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
all right.
It's not going to matter.
We'll just. All right. There's still maybe one person walking around the perimeter, And we're going to want to, like, honestly, I'm thinking I'm just going to put him to sleep. I feel like I could put him to sleep. Like, pretty, it's gonna burn through some of my magical energy, but should be able to put him to sleep.
I want to real quick from Pogo, from P.D. Pablo's kind of scouting that you had him doing over the top of the manor. Nils is, I'll just tell you that Nils is pretty experienced, whereas Audie and God damn it, Scavi,
Whatever his name is.
Are there you go, Folly, are younger and don't look experienced at all. So I would just the Pogo very much would recognize how his sleep spell works. Probably work perfectly fine on the sons. Probably not going to work. Yeah, probably not going to work on their father.
All right.
And nobody has seen Durrell or God damn it, Lady Venovia.
Yeah. So basically, when we get there, we should wait until it's one of the sons on patrol. So Svali or Ari. Hopefully, Nils is just inside getting shit hammered. And things like that. Did my bird see them patrolling outside at all, like during the night?
They go outside onto there's a big second floor balcony, and very often they'll come out on that to just kind of get some fresh air. It seems like they don't usually leave the front door and go wander around the outside of the property because, like I said, it's right on the street, and they can see the street from the balcony, so they don't really come outside beyond the kind of exposed outdoor areas.
Yeah, so never mind. We should be okay then. Never mind. If we need to put them to sleep, we can. But for right now, I misunderstood geography.
Yeah, there's not a lot of outdoor patrol necessary. I'll show you what I mean here in a second because I think unless there's anything else we need to do, I'm about to move this over.
Let's go meet up Alligator Girl.
All right, so. Walk me through that real quick, I guess. So there is Nazim. It takes you about 40 minutes or so to go and get bubbles and go through the soakways to get to the same exit that Pogo had described for you that comes up on the street, and then there's 100 yards between that and the front door. So you're there. Let's just, if you're going to have done that, at least you have parked bubbles, 100 yards or so from the front door. Okay. But there isn't. You can't get him directly, to the house without getting him up onto the street, unless you're going to, polymorph him or something. So he's parked there. Nissi is. You can have her in the same place. That's fine. So what are you guys doing? Where you've got these two that you're intending to bring with you, 100 yards from the door? Are you just going to walk them out, visible? It's 9:00 at night. What are you guys doing?
How busy is it?
There's still a good bit of traffic on the street.
Can you pop that map back up for me?
Yeah. So this is I intended so that you guys could draw on this if you need to. So the front door is here. Let me draw on it real quick and I'll show you what I mean. Well, no. So there's this. The street side is the south side, the middle, basically of the map on the ground floor section. This is the street down here. I'll delete that in a second. In fact, I guess you could use that as the kind of border between the first and second floors, but it doesn't matter. So this is essentially where the front door is, and then this is the lobby.
Oh, there's another. Okay, I get it. I was looking at the other thing.
Yeah, so this is you guys can draw on here if you need to. This is the back. Click on, so on the left side, click the pencil.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Gotcha.
And then after you clicked on the pencil, go down to the one that looks like a squiggly M. It'll say draw freehand. The top dash in the top center, there is a little bit of a distance between there and the road. And then the office is that top right one.
So I think we are going in over here, right? Into this.
That is, you literally put that line right over where that table is. So that table is directly beneath that line. You can see it kind of sticking out of the wall there. But yeah, that's the
office.
That's the office. Yes.
This is the road. Where am I parked with bubbles? Which side of that building?
Where your line is, it's off way to the left.
So somewhere over here.
I didn't see any new mark.
After
you, here, let me grab the squiggly line again. Here, like that way, over that way, 100 yards from the front door.
Okay.
So, I think we are first getting into this room through a window on this side. Then we're going to try to fuck around with wherever the box is. I think from the words is over here, right?
Your first line was right over it. So let me.
Okay, so that's where the actual thing. All right, got it.
Right there, basically.
Right. So we get into that room, we find that control panel, hopefully Arteme and Sarah are smart enough to figure it out, because Pogo's not going to be of much help.
So either it's Sarah, it was Arteme and Nazim.
Arteme and Nazim, all right. Good luck there. I will post up probably by the door. So I will post here, keeping an ear. How many doors are in this room? There's one on each side, huh? Top and north and south.
Well, doors. What do you mean? Exterior or interior?
Interior.
You don't know.
Got
As
it.
far as the drawing, there's at least these two that look like they go out into this koi pond area. Do you see what I'm talking about? And then there are the stairs that go upstairs. So there's these doors. Can I draw a dot?
I think
Drawing
the
tool's kinda
resolution's
stuck on
too
this thing.
slow.
Yeah,
the
maybe.
resolution's too low.
Yeah.
So, and then we're going to make our way. If the automatons get shut down, we can make our way through here. Wait, where's the door? Through there, and there. Does that look right to everybody?
Do we have to go all the way around the hallway, or are
don't
there
think there's a
doors on
door.
that
Let me-
first line that you drew?
I don't think so. Nope. It's door out through that
My
room.
question to
All
you
the way
is,
through
if
the
I'm
hallway.
on the right side of the building assisting with the wisdom, what am I doing with Bubbles on the left side of the building?
Tell them to fucking wait till we need them, or we can turn them into something in a jar. Turn them into the bubbles bomb. There's also a
Bomb's
window.
only going to last for an hour.
There's also a window here if Nazim and Sarah want to go in this room to try to get the automatons disabled.
Part of Nazim was able to see that window from the street, and it was blacked out.
Yeah. Chances are it's also magically thinged, and if Sarah's inside, I'm not going to get the magic off of it anyways. So I think we need to go through here. We need to go up and through here and into this room. And then we need to have our locksmith, our watchmaker, go ahead and get us into the basement. Or if we can't find any material describing what we're looking for, then we'll go into the basement from that room. Because that's where they saw the basement door, right?
Yep. There's stairs that go down to a door, and then that door is leading to the basement.
And
Yeah.
that's where we'll use our watchmaker. So we'll use them there, on the window, and possibly on the door inside this room if that happens to be strangely locked.
There's 2 automatons in there, so we either have to get the table
them
to
down.
work or smash the table and hope that it lets them loose. I don't know.
I'd like to think smashing the table we keep
As
secondary.
a last resort.
Yes, but how else are we going to deal with the 2 automatons in the room?
So I also have the ability to, cast this in the room. Silence. And it's 20-foot radius. So if I cast that in that room, the automatons, at least, we won't be able to make any sound. I will let you know, I need to make sound to do pretty much anything, because I'm worthless like that.
I was wondering if you were going to catch that.
So just so you know, I can cast it. I don't even have to be in the room to cast it. I can just look at the room, cast it, and assuming, I don't even know if they're going to notice it happens.
A lot of mine are as well.
A lot of spells have verbal
Yeah.
components. Yeah.
But
But
you know what
almost all
doesn't make a
Pogos
lot
do.
of sound in there and doesn't need it? Norok penetrating things. Could go up there and you can't hear it. He'll just be in there just penetrating away and no one's going to
Silent
hear
penetration.
anything. Silent penetration. So I'm saying it's an option.
But I think I only have like 3 spells that don't require verbal components.
I say, and I know Norok's going to love this idea. We put him in a jar. We get him into that room. I cast silence. Toss the jar in that room. He takes care of the automatons. No one knows.
I'm
If we
not
have
against
to.
it. I can cast haste on him before he goes in.
As like a bug or something?
Haste? No, it gives him a whole nother action.
Yeah, no, I mean like, because I'm thinking like you keep him like a grenade. Carry him around, polymorphed as a frog, what have you. And then I cast silence. I crack open the door, and I just throw him at the door. I don't know. And then I crack open the door, toss that in. I mean, I'll help. I'll go in there. I got the swords, and I'll do my best. It's just not going to be terribly great.
Becky, you watched Critical Role Season 1, right? All of it?
Yeah.
So you remember the big scene with Scanlan, late in the season, remember? When
Uh-huh.
when Scanlan
Yeah.
quit for a little while. So Norok is eventually going to get tired of being a prop, and we're going to have that kind of a moment where Norok is going to throw
No
a
one
fit.
knows my
You
mother's
can
name.
say no, Norak. You don't have to do these things. I'm just saying. Part of me would enjoy watching you explode in a ball of anger and fury inside a room, but in complete silence. There's something poetic about it, I think.
Yeah, but we're supposed to be being careful, right?
That's
And not
fine.
smash.
We,
This isn't ideal.
yeah, but it'll just be the 2 automatons though. But
Well, it's not just those
Yeah.
two.
well, I just meant if we can make it to there without being seen by others, then we just have to deal with those 2 in that room with silence.
So what I'm
we get
thinking
down.
is, what if me and Norok can get into that room, and with our lock picker, if we can get into this room right here quietly, and then you can start playing with the machines, or should we just stay in this room and play with the machines until we can figure out if we get them or not? I'm pretty sneaky.
Well,
I
the
can probably, without
machines-
even magical means, evade around the site of these things should need be.
Okay, but I can't turn him into anything for you to sneak him in there because they'll still see him.
Yeah, that's true. Huh?
If your
It's an
polymorph
illusion.
does a thing, they might. I mean, they'll.
It'll no, because
Ah.
mine's not like Artemis. Mine is an illusion that goes over someone that turns them into that, makes them look like it.
Oh,
But
really?
It's not.
Oh, I
Well,
can
it's
actually
not-
turn
oh,
it into
it-
something.
Well, it's
It does turn them into it, but it is clear that it's a magical aura surrounding it.
Yeah, so
Arteme,
it would
Arteme
look like a
is just
hamster.
the natural
It would look like a hamster with a bunch of magical aura around it. It wouldn't look
yeah.
like
So
a
they just
Norok.
The
enhanced
automaton will immediately investigate something like that. I'll tell you that, and they can
Yeah.
see that through walls too.
so,
Oh.
They have true
Seriously?
sight. Yep, they have true sight.
wow.
True sight see through walls? Shit.
They see magical auras. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I am now out of ideas. So
So we gotta
I'm gonna give the
figure
handle to someone else. I'm gonna go use the halfling bathroom. I'll be right back, guys.
We just have to try to figure out how to control the automatons.
So that's going to be me and Nazine's job.
Uh-huh. Or if you can figure out a way without smashing it that releases them, I don't know.
But that's what I mean, like, we'll take
Okay.
a look at it and see if we can figure something out.
All right, you guys ready to, get started? It sounds like you guys may have faltered a little bit on the plan. So, we ready to actually go, or do you want to plan some more?
I mean, I think we're good, right? We're just going in a window.
We got the checklist though. We've got our entryway. We've got a distraction. We know what's going on. We have an exit plan specific.
Yeah.
Are we going to be
well-
able to exit out this house?
We have 2. We can try to make our way back through and go down into the Silkway, or we can try to barricade ourselves down underneath where we're going and spend a minute to vamp out.
Draw a circle.
Yeah,
the
which,
teleport,
by the
yeah.
way, before we leave, because, what's her name? Hortensia said that there was a circle in the basement.
You know there is. That's how you got there before.
Okay.
Sorry,
No,
you flew there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you sent the Meadow Lake people to, though.
Yeah. This was one of the circles that I got from Ozzy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will just let her know that we may be coming back that way,
Okay.
so she's not surprised.
You do have the one on the Sevastopol too, so you could teleport straight back to the ship if you needed to. Yeah, but either one of those.
Question 2. I know we're positioning bubbles on that left side. Are we going to have bubbles come in? Because it's kind of a huge creature. And I don't know if they can get through the magic windows.
Say we leave it.
Well,
Climbing through would
Norak.
definitely be difficult. Yeah.
He's bigger than Norak.
Oh yeah.
He's huge. Yeah, size huge.
Well, I can turn him into something small. We could turn him into something small and throw him at an automaton. Although if they can see through,
How much do we know
Oh,
about
they're
true
gonna see
sight?
it,
What can things see with true sight? Like, can they see through walls? Will they see like our artifacts?
They will see magical auras
Can
through
they
walls.
see us through walls? Like just
No, as
Do we
long as
have
you're not
magical
glowing.
artifacts on us?
No, it would be specifically like not. Well, actually, yes. Sarah,
Magical
Artemis' crown will definitely be glowing like a star.
And they can just see that through walls.
Yep, it's detect magic as well. Yeah, it's true sight with it. Well, it's vision and detect magic. Yeah.
Oh boy.
We just burn this place to the ground.
No.
Everyone inside.
No.
You guys got that. I mean, they saw Sai. They blew Sai up.
I don't
Sai
think
is
I
usually
realized it was
stealthy.
through walls, and now I'm not.
Well, she
totally-
was trying to hide too. I guess it wasn't. I didn't specifically say it was through a wall, but yeah, they found her when she was trying to hide still. So
Well, the good news is their sight. I mean, it's probably doesn't.
it's not super far. It's not 120 feet. Like
Reach.
they get. That's. I think it's 30
Incredibly
feet.
far.
I think the detect magic portion is 30 feet, if I remember right.
So
Which
they
is still
got
pretty
Sai-
wide inside of a building. But
But they didn't get Noctua?
Noctua didn't run down the hallway trying to chase after them. They weren't in this. They weren't walking side by side.
Okay, but if they can see through walls, so they didn't come investigate seeing Noctua's aura in that bone room? Where the
No.
table is?
Nope. And there was one in there too.
Huh.
Oh, there's
She
an
just-
automaton in that
I
room.
had cast Sai to try and figure out anything she
It's all
can
one
about the
member.
automaton, so she went closer than Noctua went.
Yeah,
to them.
just Noctua or Sai was specifically going to learn about the automata, so she followed one for a while, and that's when she got caught. Noctua
Wait,
was there looking for other stuff.
I, for some reason, under the impression there was not an automaton in
Yeah.
the room we're breaking into. Is there an automaton in that room?
There definitely was when Sai was
God
there.
damn
Noctua
it.
was there.
I thought there wasn't. All right.
Shit,
Well, the
I don't
good news is,
know.
guys, it's only like 9:30 p.m., so we got time to go over there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll say that you guys, did this during the last bit of the afternoon, so we can actually start at 9. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move us to the map real quick, so that
We're
we can
definitely
put
still
you
going
guys.
to try to break into that fucking room. We have to try to
Yeah.
break into that fucking room.
So maybe
There's
we
no
can
other-
cast
no other
silence on
options.
this
Hang on,
room.
sorry, that music's going to be really loud. Hang on 1 second, let me fix it. Sorry, I didn't realize it was going to be that loud. All right.
Instead. Or go in and see if the automaton notices once it does cast silence.
Man, I wish the pop-out windows worked again.
Is that still not fucking working?
Yeah, it's just doing that same
Yeah.
thing where
Locks out.
All right.
I've got too much
Uh,
shit open.
there-
I'm trying to-
There's a big update that I haven't updated us to yet. I'm going to turn that down a little bit more still. There's a big update to version 10. I still have us on like the last version from version 9. There's one add-on that I really need to work before I can upgrade us to 10, but I will be doing that soon. And hopefully that will fix pop-out then. And if not, I might get rid of this UI and I'll find us a different one that is pop-out compatible if needed. Because I know you guys use that one a lot. So, hang on. I didn't. Oh, so you guys probably don't have a map yet, right? Because I didn't put you guys
No,
on it.
yeah. So
No,
Sarah,
we
you
don't.
probably do. Sarah
I
does
do.
because she has Noctua.
Oh,
I'm also worried that even if I cast this spell in that room, that they're going to be able to see it from other rooms.
Is there a good spot? If that map is correct, there's glass panels on the roof. Do we know if those are warded?
Nobody's been up there to be able to tell, but you would gather somebody this concerned about security is not going to be so lax as to forget, one on
Yeah.
a roof like that.
Good point. All right. So I was thinking maybe we could sneak in through the roof, but yeah, probably going to be secured too.
Yep. You think it probably would be. You don't know for sure. I mean, maybe not. But, Sarah, you're not polymorphed right now, right?
no. No,
'Cause
I'm
I
just
have it
kidding.
up. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. I had the concentration up for it. Oh, Pogo, you didn't actually cast silence. You were just doing that for display.
Yep.
So let me take that off. Arteme has you, healing spirit. That was earlier. You're not prone anymore either. So we'll take that off, and then Nazim. Oh, it's actually just now falling. Nazim, you got, well, it was probably 5 o'clock or something like that. You got poisoned in the fight with Bubbles. Remember when he tore at you? And it lasts for 24 hours. So you actually would have had a couple of checks that would have been a disadvantage because of the poison, but it has since passed. So it was last for 24 hours, and it's gone now. So you're no longer poisoned. All right, so I have you guys on the street side of it. You guys can see the map now, right? So I have you guys on the street side. You can see through those windows there that look, they go into like a lobby area is the look of it. Like I said, this mansion looks like it's been retrofitted into kind of a museum almost. I do have Bubbles and Nissy right here, but they're actually over off to the right. So let me just to get them out of the way. I'll put them over there, not on that side of the map, over there, and then you guys can bring them in whenever you're ready. But yeah. So there you are. The bone room is on the left side of this map. You realize that now that you're standing here, of course, that she drew it, from her perspective, and she comes in through the back door through the servants' entrance. But the bone room, as you guys were describing, it is
And we
over
just
on the
can't
left side of this
catch a
map.
break. We're even using a mirrored map. God damn it!
I wasn't going to make it easy for you. It's supposed to be, you're level 14.
Is there a wall or fence surrounding this area?
There is. It's short and you could step over it. Fogo and Sarah couldn't. Arteme, Nazim, and Nora could step over it. It's not super high.
Okay.
Mostly decorative.
Well, I guess we're gonna get this thing started then. Well, first I'm gonna grab our little helper girl, the goblin girl, with our majig. I mean, are we just to confirm? Are we waiting past 9? I feel like we're waiting till midnight, right? We're not just going in at 9. There's
You
still
tell
people
me.
everywhere.
I thought you guys were going in at 9, but it doesn't matter. It's up to
Group,
you.
what does the group think? I say we waited in the
If we-
sewers until it got a little less busy. That's why I wanted to ask to see if there's a bunch of people. I feel like midnight would be a lot quieter.
Yeah, the streets are still pretty busy.
Yeah, that would probably be a better idea.
This one's still loud. Let me turn this down.
Because then we can just walk bubbles across the street instead of casting a spell.
Nice
to
and subtle
do
like.
something.
Just
Well,
don't let him
Nobody's going to notice that giant rat
Marcus
zombie.
territory or anything.
I mean, I can cast darkness, but with a bunch of
Throw-
people around, they're gonna notice darkness.
Just throw
so
a poncho over him.
What's that
if
fucking
there's less
spell?
people-
What's that fucking spell that all rogues have? That everyone gets a +10 to their stealth?
Oh no, that's
Pass without trace.
Pass without
Yeah.
trace. Do we not have pass without trace?
Nope, you didn't have any rogues.
How the fuck do we not have pass
I
without
do.
trace?
Oh,
I
shit.
do.
Arteme might
yeah.
have that. I forgot about that.
You
I think
need-
druids have it too, yeah.
We
Haven't we used that
especially if
before?
we're together, we need.
I've
pass
used
without
it
trace.
before.
You guys used it when you were
times.
climbing the mountain and keeping the
Yeah.
white frost that feeds from finding you.
Yeah, we
That's
gotta
what
have
that
that. on
dragon.
here.
I've used it a few times along with your invisibility.
Yeah, well, we're not going invisible yet because I don't see much of a point. But
I want you
maybe
guys to think of this like what a mage would do if he needed to secure. This isn't you don't think Lord Durrell's a mage, but with enough money, let's say you could buy one. What they would do to secure their place by magical means. So keep that in mind. That if a person could do something with money and technology in the modern world, what would they do with magic? And well, magic is a replacement for technology. So money and magic in a world like this. Okay.
Does anyone have a way of?
Well, okay, it depends because can you make a magical barrier that reflects magic that's used onto it to the caster?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
You don't know if that's what they're doing, but I mean,
no,
even,
but if
even the
it's
ward behind windows.
possible, the thing is that yeah, that means it's a possibility. I'm not saying that's what they did.
Does this house have some kind of electrical grid to it? Any
not-
wires or anything? Well, would we even know what wires are? I don't even know. You know what I mean? But
I mean, electricity is a thing. I don't know that it's been used to harness, for powering, only because that kind of technological advancement wouldn't have been necessary when they had an alternative, such as magic. So there are potentially cultures that do. Here in the city, where magic is more plentiful and easily attained, probably not.
Does anyone have a way of sensing magic, that you already can see it? You can see magic around you. Does anyone have that ability?
Best I have is arcane, just to kind of get a vibe, but nothing visual, not like a lantern or anything.
No. Wait, do we have a lantern?
We do have a lantern in the bag of holding.
Yeah, fucking pull that bitch out.
Oh yeah, we have a genuine lantern.
Just fucking pull it out, just real quick. Just
yeah.
give it, just come over here. Come on, you don't have to
Doesn't
stand in
that
front of the
make
fucking door
Magic
like
and
weirdos.
dirt when it's cast with the light. We can
Yep,
just shine
it's
it
a
on the
mirror
window and open the window.
It's the same color. That's a mirror curtain. It's like the same thing. It's the same things that when Arteme, when you walked into the Everbright Lantern, it's those things. You guys have seen them numerous times. They're a pretty common, magical, advancement.
But
Similar
if
to the
there's-
technological one.
If there's other magic that's not of that same kind, it'll still show us. So, if we're gonna, what if there's a magical booby trap? If we take a step across this fence, then it sees it like a string, like a security thread, something like that, like an invisible magical thread. can you just shine the lantern like over here on the side where we're going this way, so we're not literally standing in front of their house.
Alright, I was
We're not,
looking
okay,
at
we're not singing
I
carols.
wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you guys aren't actually standing right in front. Like you guys are, still being careful about this. So sorry, this track's too loud too. I had to turn them all individually.
I say we go over to the side. Now, just go ahead and shine the. Wait, do we have to be attuned to the lantern?
No.
Oh, good. Just like if you shine it here, it'll maybe show if we step over here onto this lawn, or onto the side of the house.
You guys fumbling around. There's street lights, so you still have a little bit of light. Nazim had told you there's a window just down to the south a little bit that lead into that goes into that bone room. So, as you guys were describing it, the bone room.
Also, out of curiosity, do we have past that trace? Because we got to stay within 30 feet of Artemis for that one.
Artemis, you casted that, right?
I didn't cast it right away. I was just linking it. But when should I be casting it?
I mean, it lasts a very long time. Is it concentration?
I think it's 10 minutes, right?
Concentration.
Is it an hour or 10 minutes? 1 hour.
I think it's an hour or something.
Yep.
We should
It is concentration, though, yeah.
probably do it now while we're trying to sneak around to a window.
Yeah, why not? It doesn't hurt. Let's just try to be quiet, and we don't just be stealthy, be quiet, and that includes our lizard friend.
Are you bringing bubbles in? Okay, all right. Then, if that's the case, if we're starting, what time is it? Well, how late were you guys waiting? Midnight. All right. So you brought Nissi, and glitters and bubbles.
Yeah. Now, are there still people like walking on the street at this hour?
Very rarely. You don't see many, and usually they're a hood pulled up and dark cloak and just kind of keeping to themselves.
Do we just wait for no one to be around real quick and then just run them across? Or do I cast darkness over them and lead them across? Because I can see them.
No, because I can't see. We're not going to try to get 9 people across the street holding hands.
Not you guys. The Bubbles and Nesty and her glitters or whatever. Get them across. I can lead those 3 with my darkness.
Well, the tiny goblin and the little thing, they'll be fine. They'll just be quiet and sneaky. You can be quiet and sneaky, right?
You're asking Nissi? Well, of course.
Right, yeah.
I mean, glitter burps sometimes. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you wanted me.
That's all I need to know.
I'll tell her not to burp.
And we can just run Bubbles across the street when no one's in the vicinity.
I'm just going to go on record and say I kind of hate that Bubbles is just running around with us. I kind of do. I'm being honest.
He is a fucking mountain of undead rat.
It's not. This is my least favorite part of this whole plan. All right.
Yeah, but then I look normal when he's around, so I can actually, get not accosted and everything like that.
Norok has something to ride.
Yeah, there you go. I finally have a pet. Fuck yeah.
I now know where this whole session is eventually going to lead to. All right.
Norok on Bubbles' shoulders, just screaming and throwing his axe.
All right. Well, can you shine the light real quick on it? Just see if there's see if there's anything on the. How about me and you, Sarah? We just go up. We just go ahead of the group and we just check this out, and they can always follow us after a minute. We'll just go see if we can at least get onto the property.
Sure.
All right. Let's go.
All right. It is 30, I think. Here, we'll do 30, 15. And that'll need to be that. That will do. There you go, Sarah. Oh shit! Hang on, I didn't make it a cone. I made it a full sphere. Degrees, we'll call it 35. There you go. All right, there's your lantern.
All right, so shine it down.
Wait. Back around this way, or where
This
we
way.
were?
That's where the window is. Yeah.
So this is where the wall is. Where I'm kind of at. I'm not actually there. I'm just having it waiting for her to shine.
Well, where she's going around the corner is where the window is.
Got
Yeah.
it. Ah!
I'm not letting her move. What just happened? There we go.
Are we on
I
the
don't
property
know
or are we
if
on the
I'm-
street still?
You're off the street and down the other side of the building.
Oh, okay.
And that right there is the window.
So right around the corner.
Yeah, you guys don't have shared vision, so I guess you guys
I would
will have to
say,
report
by
back
the
to
way,
me.
I didn't realize it was like went around here. I thought we had to go onto the lawn. I didn't know the scale of this map, so
Yeah.
my bad. I would say at this point, I would have reached back and just heralded everyone back here. especially to leave bubbles on the side, like next to the building, but where there's no windows. Like basically where I'm at, I would try to tell them to keep bubbles here.
All right, I'll drop him there. He is huge.
Is he in a dark enough area to where he might not be seen by the street?
There's not street lights. Yeah, I mean, if he's not moving, if he's just kind of back against the wall, he might kind of look like a bush or
like
a tree.
A lumbering tree.
Yeah.
Just a heavy breathing tree, I'm guessing.
Sako.
He's undead, so he's not breathing.
Sako, Norok, and Artemis, you guys can make your way over
Yeah.
if you guys are ready to do so. It's way over on the left and then around the building. So that's the window right there. If you look to the right, that looks inside the room, and you're going to see something in there if you look, Sarah.
Well, give it a let. There we go.
You shouldn't be able to walk in. That's a window.
Oh,
Did it let you walk in?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been like,
Okay.
I'm lagging a bit too, so.
Okay, that's fine. Could you see through there? Because there's something inside that room that you should be able to see from where you're standing.
The golden automaton
Yup.
in the corner? Yeah, I can
Yep.
see him.
He is standing relatively still, and then as you're watching, he takes a step. And then 30 seconds later, another step. He's moving very slowly around the room. And if you're shining the lantern through the window, when he turns around, coming around the other way, right now he's facing the other way, he's probably going to see that, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, I'll drop down.
Artemis, I'm going to drag you
Down.
over there.
Yeah, it's not working. I hit the button and I was waiting for it to go.
Okay.
Right, so we need to jump in now and get behind this guy, because he's coming around the table, and he'll be able to see us. Or we wait for him to make another rotation.
Yeah, he's taken a few steps, like a step rather, every 30 seconds or so. So I mean, it'll be a couple of minutes before he's around the other side, but not very long.
Spell the fucking magic on the window, and then
I'll hold up the lantern.
and while you don't have to hold up the lantern just to spell. Is it the lantern to spell it?
What?
No.
The
No, that
I
is
thought
it.
the lantern got rid of magical effects.
No, just
It
shows.
does for illusions.
Okay.
It sees through them. It'll nullify illusions and so on, but it's not going to get rid of the Reconnaissance wall now.
Okay, that was my misunderstanding.
When
Then yes,
she-
I wrote the spell.
And I'm gonna whisper while she's doing that to the goblin girl. All right, so we gotta get in through this window. If after she takes the magical spell off of it, you just gotta make sure we can unlock it. It might be unlocked, but if not, you gotta work your magic, okay?
Just the glass. It's not. It's glass. Where's the lock?
Well, I don't know. Is there no luck on it?
So
My
as you're
resolution-
having
my
as you're
perception is
having
very
this
shit.
as you're having this whispered conversation
Can't you
with
see in the
her,
dark?
you hear from below Glitter's burps as you're trying to have this whispered conversation with her. Sarah reaching out 120 feet. Okay, reaching out and aiming her hand at the window. You see just a brief shimmer across the of light go across the window, and immediately there is a flash of red light inside the room. Because we're going to go ahead and end here. Because with any good security system, if you break something or turn off a certain part of the security system, it sets the alarm off. So,
Right.
You know,
you guys
You
should have
know,
thought
here's
of
the
that. I told you
thing,
that
here's the
1,000
thing.
times of warnings of, go ahead.
all right, fine, but you gotta remember the lack of knowledge of how magical security systems work is probably in the DM's head.
I literally 5 minutes ago said, imagine what you can do with technology and money in the real world, and imagine that would be replicated with magic and money in this world. I literally said that. Come on.
I'm just saying, there's a lot
Sure.
of variables.
Well, now
a lot of
we-
variables I'm not gonna think of.
It's not
Now
it's not super loud. Literally, the sound that you're hearing is the table that's on the other side of the window, which happens to be covered in knobs and wheels and rotating on its own.
Okay, so
literally
that's
right on the
the-
other side of the window.
That is literally the Brinks control panel.
Right
That
on
is
the other side of this
That
window.
is the security control panel on the other side, and it's
You guys can actually see it, like it's
Yeah.
right through the window.
It's a red light, or is it making a sound as well?
It's a quiet sound, like a sound coming from that table, not like
Okay,
not,
so this
not
is more of
blaring
an-
alarms from the
This is
whole
more of
house.
an error sound as opposed to the
Yeah,
alarm.
yeah,
is
yeah.
being
It's
played.
a beeping coming from
This
the table.
means we have
not, like,
30 seconds to a minute to disable the alarm.
You
or it's
basically-
or we're gonna have to know their security answer, or a bunch of mages are gonna show up.
Yeah.
All pissed
You
off.
do, of course, immediately recognize that the automaton starts to rotate in place, and you will have to deal with that. You know,
Yeah.
You
when
gotta
we pick
also
up here.
remember there's probably going to be an eyeball in the corner that sees all of our faces. And that links to a mage's headquarters.
Well,
and we're gonna
you've
be
actually
now-
seen, you've actually
Yeah.
seen those before. Remember the floating eyes
Yeah.
that you fought? Yeah,
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
those are gonna, there's going to be like one in every room, and turrets that shoot magical bullets that are currently hidden.
Those
What
are
else
illegal
can I
in
think of?
California, though.
What else can I
Those
think
are
of?
illegal in the city of Mist.
Have we checked for ninjas? Magical ninjas.
They rappel down from the ceiling.
We didn't
Start
think of
throwing ninja
everything,
stars at everybody.
guys. All
You
right.
should come on. You guys should have thought of that, though. I literally just said that 5 minutes ago, right?
All I know
Yep.
is with
Yeah,
my,
but I don't really know
with
much
my-
about security systems.
I was gonna say with my security system, if like someone just put a magnet up to one of the other magnets and then opened the door, it would basically fool the security system.
Well, all right.
Kinda
That's
thought this was doing the
residential,
same
though.
thing.
That's not like a business
Yeah, I
security
don't
system
know.
with glass break sensors and things like that.
I
you know?
get it.
Prison.
You know, I mean, sure, mid to low security prison. Yeah, there you go.
I blame Psy. I blame
Sounds
Psy on this.
Hey!
But I mean, just to be clear, though, it's not a blaring,
Yeah.
a whole house alarm. The only things that are aware right now are that panel, that security panel, and that automaton that's in this room. And there are other automata, so they're a risk, but they're not aware. At least at the moment, it doesn't seem like anything else is aware. You're not fucked yet. Basically,
Yeah.
you still have plenty of time to get this figured out.
This is
I mean,
that-
all things
this is
considered,
that-
it's really not
this
that
is-
bad. So you guys did all right of getting in there.
This is basically like you come home, you open the door, you got a minute to disable the alarm comfortably.
Yeah, with the beep, beep, beep until you
Yep.
do it. Yeah. Yep.
So
So all things considered,
Figure it out.
you did fine. It wasn't a catastrophic concern. It was just a matter of, in fact, actually, I thought about that earlier, is when you first were talking about the spell magic. If you tried to do it at a different window, that could have been a serious problem because that would have set off the whole thing eventually.
like
Not
we
just,
wouldn't have known basically.
But you wouldn't have been able to get
That
to
was
it. And thankfully, since that window just happens to be there on the map, and you saw it on the other map too, but since it happens to be there with the control panel, it is a potentially a pretty quick thing if you can get through the window. Remember, it's still glass, and then disable it to get in.
Cool.
Anyway,